All right, good morning, guys. And once again, welcome to our webinar on USA travel options. My name is Joshua Oyeniyi. I'm a business consultant. I run a consulting company in the United States by the name of Amborium Global Services, LLC in New York. I'm a media personality. I'm a family man. I'm a Christian. And very importantly, I take life as seriously as I should. And that means I'm also on time. We have a meeting for 10 o'clock. Well, unless there are other very compelling circumstances not to be in at 10 o'clock, I believe that discipline requires that I'm here, show up when I'm supposed to show up. So, the general perception that everything that is free is not valued, I do not take it all the time. People have given me opportunities that were shared with me freely, and I grabbed them with two hands and I ran with them. And it changed a lot of games for me. So, which is why I still believe in doing some or certain stuff for free, just to give people who need the opportunity a chance at running with it. So that's why we're doing this. It comes at great price to me, honestly. That's great sacrifice to me. It's I had to be up at 3:30 a.m. my time. It's just 4 or 5 a.m. my time. So I am never awake at this time because most of the time I'm up till very late. And then, by this time I'm trying to catch some rest. So, but then, the passion to just help people make life-changing decisions is what keeps me going. And I've seen the result of some of this effort that I make, and I'm very happy, honestly. I'm very happy. I will share in the course of my presentation why and how some of those things have kept me going. So I'll please crave your indulgence. Let's keep to time. Let's get this going. I'm trying to buy a little bit of a time for some of the guys that may want to come in, and then we can make the most of today. We don't have more than, say, an hour to do most of the stuff we want to do, and then we can adjourn. Okay, I'll share my screen momentarily. Okay. Let me know if you can see my screen, okay? Thank you.
You can see it, sir.
I can see it, sir.
Thank you. All right. So, in 2014, 2014, just like this, a particular week like that, I happened to come upon an opportunity to attend a webinar, not a webinar this time around, but it was like a physical seminar. And the seminar was about helping young Nigerians who would like to participate in the Mandela Washington Fellowship in the United States. That is an exchange program by the US government, and with which they sponsor people to come to the US, spend 6 weeks in the United States at select colleges, and then learn some entrepreneurial leadership skills and social development skills, and then go back to their home country and implement what they have learned. So that program still runs. That weekend, somebody said, oh, we're organizing a free seminar for guys who want to know how to apply for this. And I started searching for the location in Lagos. Unfortunately, it was full. I said, okay, I'm going to have to do anything possible to get to attend one of these events because I was passionate about getting an opportunity that would change my life. So I went online and found out that there was an opening in Ibadan. I said I must go to this Ibadan. So I told my guys, my colleagues, at the time I was running a radio show in Lagos, the Ambassadors Radio Show. I said, guys, my team, let's go and, hear these guys share their experiences. Also, these guys have gone to the US, they've come back. Let's go and hear how they did it, how they filled the forms, how they answered the questions and all of that. So as I entered in my participation for the Ibadan seminar, I was preparing. And then the day before, just like, today being Saturday, the Friday before, somebody said, oh, there is actually a few slots open in the Lagos location. If you want to go, I said, oh, of course, thank you. So at the nick of time, I was able to sneak into the Lagos location, somewhere in the heart of Lagos Island. When I got there, we were maybe 15 thereabouts in the room. Okay, it wasn't like a big meeting. So I sat at the back and I was listening intently, the way I will beg you to listen today. And I was watching everything and I was trying to see, okay, who here can I connect with? What can I learn from these guys that can help me successfully get this opportunity? So when everyone was done talking about, okay, this is what this is what I did when I was filling my forms, this is what I did when I filled my form, we're all done and we're having some kind of social networking. So I was like, who do I just meet? Who do I talk to of these guys and all of that, So I went up to somebody, a gentleman. He was having on him a POP. Okay, he was having a POP. So I was really intrigued by it. I wanted to know what happened to him, whether he had an accident or, it was just a mishap or something. So I went up to him. I said, okay, what happened to your hand? And he told me, oh, I was in an accident with my friends. I lost him, in the car accident. I survived. I said, oh, so sorry. I'm just grateful that you are alive. At least that's why we could meet today. So I asked him, I said, what do you do? And he told me, said, oh, he's into running a website that shares opportunities with young people. So I said, okay, that's fine. Let's connect, let's talk. Okay. I do a radio show. We could have a few conversations. That was how I met this gentleman at that event where I went to learn about how to apply for opportunities in the US. This time I was an exchange program. So 2 months after, this gentleman told me, hey, Joshua, there is an opportunity, okay, for young people who are doing XYZ, who are doing, phenomenal work, helping to organize, develop, and groom other people. You may want to apply for it. So that was when he told me about the Global Student Entrepreneurs Award. It was a contest, it was an international contest. And so when he told me, I said, of course, I would love to put in for it. But at the same time, the guys that are hosting the event, can I also host them on radio so that they could share this opportunity with my audience, with the whole of Lagos? I was not just interested in cornering all the good opportunities for myself. I said, let them come and talk about it. Let them throw it open. So they came and spoke about it on radio, on my show at the time. And then they were leaving. And I said to them, I hosted you, that's fine, but can I also participate? I qualified it. Of course, it's an open contest. And so I participated, sent in my application on the 1st of March, 2015. And on the 6th of March, we were called in for a kind of semi-finals in the heart of Ikeja. There's a business school in Ikeja that we were called in to come and participate in the semi-finals. I went in and did my best, but they said the best was not good enough, so I didn't qualify for the finals. And I sat there saying, okay, what's going to be the next step? I'm not going to give up. Like I told some guys over the course of the week, he said, I am not expecting everybody to take this seriously. No, I'm not. I'll be, making a mockery of what I've known to expect that people will take every opportunity that can change their lives seriously. It's fine. But if I get 10 people who are going to take this passionately and do something about it and run with the information that I will share with them, it will make it, it will make it worthwhile for me. It will make it really worthwhile for me. And I'll tell you why, that continues to inspire me. Okay. So back to the story, I told myself I was not going to give up. I was right there hoping what's going to be the next thing to do? What's going to be the next thing to do? And then there was a change of fate. There was a twist of fate. And the organizers came and said, okay, we're going to select one or two more guys to join these guys in the finals. So we'll go to the list and see those who were supposed to be in the finals, but maybe missed it by a few points. That was a changing moment for me because they called my name to join them in the finals. That was how I got into the finals of that, contest, the national contest at that level. And then on March 9th, we were hosted as the Porsche Center. I mean, where they sell the Porsche cars. There's this place in is it at Diola or Deco in VI where they sell Porsche cars. And so we used the space. We had these guys who came in from all over the world, Americans, British guys and all that, who were business guys. Each of these guys was worth at least $1 million. So we had like a panel of business judges. There were about 12. And so they listened to each of us talk about our business ideas, our business projections, what we were doing at the time. We were 11, I believe, at that national finals. And I put in my very best. I remember the night before, right? I was up all night doing my slides, doing everything. How do I, prepare? You see, everything that you're going to do to succeed will require sacrifice. It will require sacrifice. Some of them, you may not be able to pay for some of those things with money, but you may have to pay for those things with your time, with your devotion, with your commitment. You have to stay up late. Whatever you have to do, if you have to cancel certain event to say, okay, this one, if I give it 1 hour, it might bring a returns that, some other project or effort that will give 10 hours to might not give me within this time frame. So, for me, that was how I saw things, and now it's how I continue to see things. And so I went for it that particular day, that particular 9th of March, and gave it my very all, gave it my very best. And to the glory of God, I got to win that contest, on the 9th of March. So I was announced the national winner for the Global Student Entrepreneur Awards in Nigeria. And then one of the prizes was that I had to go to the US to represent Nigeria. Now, remember that the event that I went for, okay, was to know about an exchange program that will take me to the US for 6 weeks. Of course, I did put in for Mandela Washington a couple of times, but I never got to be selected. The closest I got to be selected was I got into the semifinals, in a particular year after like 3 or 4 years of trying, right? I got to semifinals in a particular year. I got invited to the US Embassy where they interview the semifinalists. It's not the regular US interview. No, they take you in somewhere in the embassy, they sit you down, right? And you have an engagement one-on-one with 2 or 3 embassy officials of the United States, consulates, and they ask you questions. I was very optimistic. I thought I was going to be selected, in the final shortlist to go to the US. But when they announced the result, I didn't get into the shortlist. But I didn't throw in the towel. I said I would try other things. Okay, like I would not expect anybody to say, "Hey, I've tried the B1, B2 before. It did not work. I've tried student visa before. It did not work. Do you know the one that would work? Why do you want to stop? Unless it's not something that you really consider as part of your long-term goals, I would say that you cannot and you should not give up." Okay, and why am I passionate about the US. It's not that the US is anything, out of the ordinary. Honestly, if you even need to succeed in the US, you need to be very hardworking and very disciplined and determined. Okay, it was when I got into this country that I realized that, yeah, we may say that we work hard in Nigeria, but we do not have work ethics. And one of the signs of poor work ethics is lateness. Nigerians, and I will be very, very emphatic because I'm a Nigerian. Okay, I do not claim any other nationality, and I do not. I mean, I know of very few people who have had. I mean, in my circle or that I know of one-on-one, who have had some of the exposures that I have, but still remain very, very devoted to the Nigerian concept. I have friends who have completely turned off, on me because they feel you are too attached to Nigeria. You still believe so much in Nigeria. Yes, I do. So the fact is that there are Nigerian youngsters, brilliant chaps, who are doing amazing things that you will just have to stay connected to them to help them. So if you say because, oh, you're somewhere now, it's your choice. I'm not saying you should remain committed to Nigeria. That's a different debate. I'm just telling you why, some of the reasons why I do some of the things that I do, which is why you can even be on this platform. Because I had so many reasons to say, do you really want to do this? Okay. But then again, they are my people. I know where I'm coming from. So I definitely have to remain connected to my roots. So that was how I got into, and like I said, one of the prizes for that contest was that I had to represent Nigeria in the United States. It was a life-changing moment for me, life-changing, because apart from other things, I won a $5,000 grant money. I got, you know, a laptop from Microsoft. I got a scholarship to business school Netherlands in Nigeria, and some amazing PR features around the world. Okay. But something significantly happened that night. If you are attending a webinar to study or visit or work in the United States, and you do not have a passport and you are here, I don't know what to say. I do not know what to say. Okay. I think that is too basic. It's too basic. Okay. My friend John Obidi will talk so much about the importance of preparation with basic qualifications. You want to travel and your passport is expired. You are not telling the forces of the universe that you are ready for that next move. You are not. Okay. And you need to tell, there are certain things that you have to do to make the forces of the universe. It's like it's like in the Bible that I read, okay, there was this man that was told, strike the floor, strike the ground, strike the ground. Okay, it was a prophetic instruction. And he struck the ground like once or twice and he stopped. And the prophet looked at me and said, oh wow, you are not really passionate about what I asked you to do. He said, okay, so that means that the victory that you're supposed to win multiple times, you would only win the victory the number of times that you struck the ground. Okay, so it means that if you want to earn certain results, you must put in the work, the basic work. So get a passport. If it is expired, do anything you can to get it renewed, because an opportunity can come in at a moment that you will not have the time to go and get that basic thing done. You will lose it. Okay, so that evening, the global membership chair of the organization from the US, Miranda Barrett, she was in Nigeria that night, and she came to me and said, do you have your passport here? And thankfully, I had the passport. It was in my bag. Of all the participants that came for that finals, I was the only one that had his passport with him. So when I dipped my hand into my bag and I brought it out, they were like, wow, oh boy, you really came prepared for this. Yes, I did. I came prepared. I was that prepared. My passport was with me the night I came for that finals. So how prepared are you? Okay, so I gave it to her, and thankfully I was. She told me, said, see, many of the guys that get to win some of this stuff, they're not able to get into the US or get into whatever country that we're hosting the international finals because of either passports or they couldn't apply for visa very early and all of that. So what I did was I gave her the passport. She did a copy, sent it to the office in Washington, and then they got me my invitation. I was to be in the US April 9th of the next month. So I had just 1 month. 1 month from applying, applying to the US for a visa, to going for the interview, doing everything I needed to do. I had just 1 month to do everything. And I got into action. I remember that there was a particular weekend within that 1 month that I had to feel, I went online. I was with one of my friends, Jamie Pajol. Some of you might know Jamie. So Jamie at the time was, he has told the story over and over. He even still said it a couple of days ago. Jamie at the time was living in a church in Onike, in a reading church. Yes, the story is real, He was living in a church in Onike at the back of the church, the father's house in Onike, but very close to MFM headquarters. So I would go there to check on him, after my shows on Sunday. What's going on? How are you doing? Sometimes I sleep over before going back to my base in the Jushaga. And so that particular evening, I went there, I was filling my US DS-160 form. I was doing it myself, which is why I'm very emphatic on, you can do these things yourself. You don't need any knowledge from Mars or Jupiter or Venus to do this. You can do it yourself, okay? You just need to be committed that, okay, this is what I want to do. Why? The converse of not doing it yourself means you will spend a lot of money and time waiting on people who have other clients to deal with. Okay, and many times they can mess up not only your case, they can mess up your immigration journey for the rest of life. Because whatever goes into your case file with certain countries sticks for life. And those case files, some of them are shared, okay, with other countries. I'm just giving a preamble. In 5 minutes, I'll end it and then I'm going straight into the presentation. So it's just to say that basic preparation is very important, and you cannot we cannot overestimate it at all. So, I filled the form myself that particular evening, and I went onto the interview scheduling platform. And thankfully, not unlike now that, we have a lot of backlog, which is as a result of a number of things. Number one, the COVID-19 that happened changed the rest of the world forever. Forever. And number two, the security crisis in certain parts of Nigeria, in Lagos and Abuja. I remember there was a time, where, the terrorists bombed the UN building and they were threatening to also do the same to the US consul and all of that. So some of those things can alter the schedule and make, available dates for interviews very, very difficult to come by. So, but for me, for that particular day, as soon as I finished filling the form, in that place in Onike, like I told you, my base was in Ijushaga, Agege, Lagos. But I was in Onike filling the form. I was done. I got on the interview platform. As I filled in to search for available dates, I got a date for the following day that was a Monday. And I clicked on accept immediately myself. Nobody told me, oh, do this and all that. No, I did not go to a no agent. I did it myself and I got an interview date confirmed for the following day. What did I do? I didn't go home. I went straight to Yaba Market and I bought a shirt. Okay, I bought a brand new shirt, corporate shirt. I had a trouser, of course, for the following day, and I got some, little, whatever to just refresh, and I passed the night over there at Jamie's place in the church. So some of the things that we share, we didn't just fall from somewhere. We have a story, I have a story. So that was for me the story. I went straight to the interview the following day, and I got there. Now, let me share with you my experience in Wilmington. I'll come back to it. Right? When I got there, the gentleman looked at me and said, so what are you going for? Now, I'm giving you some of the tips, okay, even before I go into the main thing. What are you going for? And I said, I'm attending the global finals of XYZ contest as the representative for Nigeria. And then he said, yes, you won XYZ prize, you won XYZ prize. What other prizes did you win? While he was saying that, he was on the system typing. But while he was typing, it was much later I would realize that, some of the things that are said about what you put out about yourself online are very important. So for me, I saw it live in person that day. He asked me, what else did you win? Okay. He was asking because he has already seen it online. He has seen it on Instagram. Because it was announced on certain platforms that, oh, there was a particular young man that had won XYZ and all. That's why I told him that, oh, I won a $5,000 grant money, and he nodded because he had seen it. It was a particular picture that was used in making the PR announcement where I was holding a dummy check, for $5,000. And then he asked me how long I was going to stay and a couple other questions. I'll talk about them later. And then he said, okay, there's public holiday, XYZ day. I think it was like 2 days or thereabout. But the day after, your visa should be ready, period. That was it. It was less than 2 minutes. And I got that, that visa. So I did it myself. This is why I'm saying that it's a do-it-yourself approach. Agents have made a fortune from, of course, I'm not saying you can't use agents. Yes, there are cases that you might have to use somebody to help you, get through the technical aspect of certain things. But for most of it, you have to get involved. You have to get involved. All right, so let's go straight to our presentation. So, like I said, my name is Joshua Oyeniyi. I'm a fellow of the Institute of Management Consultants of Nigeria. I'm also a member of the Global Certified Management Consultants. That's the CMC. Okay, and I run a business in the United States, registered with the state of Delaware, but I operate from my base in Brooklyn, New York. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the various visa categories very quickly. From the polls that I did on the platform, it was able to make me understand a couple of things about where the interests of many of the people lie, which is many of them want PR, some of them want study visas, and some of them want visiting visas. All of them are excellent choices. It depends on what your goals and projections are. Okay. I may not be able to see what's happening. Okay, somebody is saying I'm not hearing anything. Please, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you very clear.
Great. Okay, yes.
I can hear you, sir.
I just saw somebody saying that I cannot hear anything. I hope that's okay. So thank you. So basically, the B1, B2 is a visit visa. Okay, it's a visit visa, and that visit visa is split into two. We have one that is business. We have the other that is tourism. Okay, one is business, one is tourism. Each of them have their specific uses, and you must use them for the particular purpose, that you have indicated in your DS-160 form that you're filling. So basically, the B1 visa is a business visa. Okay, it's a business visa for those who want to attend things like conferences, or things like business meetings, or certain important engagements that are outside of tourism. Okay, that is one. Now, the tourism is the B2. B2 is a tourism visa. You want to come and have fun. I want to go to Florida, Miami for 2 weeks. I've been at work all year. I want to go to Miami to do XYZ for 2 weeks. Yes, that is B2. That's B2 visa. Okay. Now, let me give you in advance one of the tips that I've used to always get it. I've gotten 3 visas in the course of the last 10 years, 9-10 years of my travel in and out of the US. 3 visas. My last visa was in November. Okay, and I just said I need to get another. I learned, okay, there's this 5-year visa now that they're giving. I started last year, started in 2022, I believe. I said I want to have the 5-year visa. The ones I've been having like 2 years. I want to have the feeling of having a 5-year visa in my passport. Okay, so I reapplied for a visa again in November 2023, and in 6 days I got a 5-year visa stamp on my passport. Okay, which for me is phenomenal. So it means that I can choose to use that visa for the next till 2029 to go back and forth in the US. For each visit, you can spend up to 6 months, but I will give you some of the reasons why you should not spend up to that. Okay, so that's B1, B2 visa. It's a visa for short-term visits to the US. That enables you to do certain things Okay, some of the processes for a B1, B2 visa is the first thing is you want to apply online. You want to go to the CEAC website, the US website, okay, Department of Homeland Security, Department of States website for your application. That form is very critical. That very first form you fill is critical, which is why, again, I say you don't give these things to agents. Now, some agents are very unscrupulous that in their bid to get you to qualify, I mean, they feel that they're trying to do you a favor. Okay, they put in false information on that form. So there was a case of somebody who had gone in for a visa interview, US visa interview, and they asked him, "Oh, sir, where are the countries that you visited before?" Yeah, because they do ask that question. You know, I dropped a link. If you go on the website, on the WhatsApp platform, we have, you know, a pinned comment. On that pinned comment, I believe there should be a link to a Quora, article that I wrote a few years ago. Okay, that details some possible US interview questions at the embassy. So they asked this gentleman, what countries have you been to before? And he said, no, I have not traveled out of Nigeria. But on his form, it was there that he had gone to Ghana, that he had gone to Dubai. Okay. And he did not do a second effort, due diligence to check that form and be sure that whatever you're going to be saying would tally with what is on your form already. And the last thing you want to do with the US visa process is misrepresent facts. In layman language, tell lies. That's the last thing you want to do, because that is permanently in the system. They call it global data. And that data is used by the Canadian embassies for determining whether to give a visa. Is used by Australian government, is used by New Zealand, and is used by UK. So they call it the 5 Eagle countries. So you see that you don't want to entrust these things to agents. You want to get involved. Even if they're doing it for you, you want to look at everything, like they say in Yoruba, fini fini. You look at them, everything. Okay, so don't misquote me. I'm not saying agents are bad. I've used an agent before in 2019 when I had to fill DS-160 forms, for me and my wife and my daughter at the time. Okay, but when it turned in the DS-160 for me for review, I looked at everything. Okay, before I said, okay, it's good. So because I didn't have the time to fill 3 forms, it could be very time consuming. It could take up to 2 hours, depending on how fast you are, or 1 hour, but it can really be sometimes very time consuming. So that form is very important. You must fill that form and fill it well. Okay. Number 2 is that you have payment commitment to make. You pay your visa fee. Right now is $160. I know the exchange rate is ridiculous. It's crazy. And I feel so pained that some of the people who could easily have gotten visas would be bad, because the payments now are just prohibitive. Okay. Then after which you now go for the visa appointment. You book an appointment and you go for it. Yes, that also has its own issues. There are backlogs. However, people are getting interviews. I still got somebody who told me a few days ago that he got an appointment within a 1-month period, and he just had his interview less than a week ago at the consulate. So people are still getting it done. Of course, you want to get a passport. Like I said, you need your travel passport. So they don't call it international passport. It's passports. Okay, you need that. You need that. Okay, and then of course your passport size photo, your intent to return. So very critically important is that when you are applying for a visa that is not that is not an immigration visa, okay, you must be very strong on how and why you will return to base. I had a friend who told me he went for an interview from another embassy out of Nigeria. As a Nigerian, was applying for a US interview. And I told him, I said, you don't have strong ties. The last time you went to Nigeria was a few years ago. And you're not married. And you have not demonstrated that, okay, even though I'm not married, I have parents that I go to see every once in 3 years. Okay, you have just been here in this country and you want to apply for a US visiting visa. They will ask you, number one, you're not even applying from your own country. How do we prove that you are going to go back there if we give you a visit visa? Number two, you have not shown in your travel history that you've been going to that home country. So your proof of intent to return must be very strong. Otherwise, your chance of a denial are 99%. Is one of the most important things that they look at. They don't want you to come to the US and not go back. Okay. Number three, the next one is travel itinerary. You must have that in place. They must see, okay, this person is supposed to travel at this time. Even if you're not sure, even if you've not booked the ticket, you must see that you are able to, you have a plan of when you want to come in and when you want to leave. The next one is your proof of funds. The US doesn't really ask you to bring they don't take documents from you. They don't look at the document. They have their preset way, and most of the time, they judge you psychologically. They judge you psychologically. So in other webinars that we're going to do, I'm going to talk about the psychological aspect of the interview. If you train yourself psychologically, you would be able to, because sometimes, even when you think that you have financial proof, but you're acting otherwise, your body language is very important. You hear the body language, which is why consular officers are very powerful people. Okay, that person that you see in that small cubicle that is asking questions is empowered by the constitution of US immigration laws to make decisions in split seconds that are near irreversible. You cannot appeal some of those decisions. So, which means that they can judge you and say, okay, this person is not confident. I had somebody who, approached me for consulting, and the reason was because the wife was supposed to get study visa to come to the US to study for an MSc. But the first interview she went for, she was jittery. Okay, she was jittery and she got denied because they kept asking her questions and she was like, okay, excuse me, sorry. Okay, I didn't get that. And this is someone who understands English very well. But because of the jitters and fears, just the whole thing was just all messed up. And she got denied twice in a row until the third one. They came to me. I was in Nigeria at the time, and this was, I think, sometime towards the end of last year. And they said, okay, so with this third one, how we are going, we want to come and see you, okay? And just please help us. Help us. We want to get these visa. And I shared with them a few tips. Okay, and the next time I would hear from her is that, we got the visa, thank you, and all of that. I did not charge for it. Okay. So I just did it to say, okay, can I really help people get this done? And it's been getting done. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have your psychology in place. Then, of course, your supporting documents. Okay, supporting documents are very critical. For example, you're traveling to the US for study. Okay, do you have all the supporting documents, your I-120? Okay, do you have your I-20 form? Do you have your admission letter in place? I once had an issue at a US border because I did not have a document of invitation. I was coming to speak at a conference in the US, and I did not carry my letter of invitation with me. So what happened was that I did not print it. It was an email, PDF. I did not print it, okay, before I left. And my phone had a particular situation, so I could not transfer all the documents from that other phone to the one I was traveling with. And I got to this, I was traveling through Qatar, and the US has a customs border in Abu Dhabi, such that when you clear the US customs in Abu Dhabi, as you enter in the US, you would not need to go through customs. You just come out of the embassy, come out of the airports. So I met the visa officer there, and they said, "Where is your letter of invitation?" I said, "Oh, I do not have it." So I got to see it. By this time, the plane was already boarding. The second leg of the plane was already boarding. I said, I do not have it. I said, I need to see it. Okay. I looked at the time. It was very close to 4 a.m. The people in the US were sleeping. So my host, there was no way I could reach out to them because they most likely would be. And I did not even have a lot of time to be back and forth checking numbers or call this or call that, because of course you don't have the network. You have internet. That was a major period for me to understand that supporting documents can add even after getting the visa. So the documents must be in place. So what did I do? Thankfully, which is why I remain grateful for the woman, the wife God gave me. She's been a lifesaver on many, many grounds. So that morning, for whatever reason, I just sent a message, a WhatsApp message to my wife. I just connected to the internet of the airport of that area. Say, give me a moment, let me check. Let me just try to reach out to somebody that I feel will be able to help me. So I sent a message. I said, my dear wife, I need my letter. I didn't take it with me. Check the wardrobe. There should be one that is somewhere there. Take a picture of it and send it to me. Okay. So in split second, less than 1 minute, she responded. So, okay, I'm doing it now. I couldn't express how shocked I was because I knew she was supposed to be sleeping. She had done everything with me the day before. We had packed everything, and I knew that night she needed to have a good sleep. So for her to be up at 4 a.m., I did not expect that. So thankfully she was up, and she just said, I just had a feeling that I should just check my phone at 4 a.m. I just had that strong feeling. I say, well, you just saved me from from a first-time deportation or from first-time return. But because if you don't have that, you assume that you really do not have anything to prove that you have an invitation. So she sent it to me and I gave it to the officer, and he said, oh, that's good, you can be on your way. And I was about the last person to board that plane, and I got in. So your documents must be very strong. Consular interview, that is another area we're going to talk about, it in detail. So I'll just move on. Okay, so that's for B1, B2. Let's talk about study visas. Okay, study visas are visas that allow you to come to the US to study at designated US colleges in the United States. Okay, and there are two of them. So many of us know one study visa. Oh, I'm coming to study at a university and all of that. Yeah, but there's a visa that is not necessarily for universities or colleges. They are just for vocational studies. Say I'm coming to learn culinary skills, art and crafts. Okay, I'm coming to learn, art, some kind of maybe street art in a particular institute. Okay, those are vocational studies. So that is for M visa, but the very popular one is the F1 visa. Okay, for students who want to come to the US to study at a US college. Okay, and it could even be a theology, a theology seminary, it could be a conservatory. Okay, it could be a language school. Some people come to the US to study German. Yeah, come to study German. It could be full-time, it could be, it could be that. So for F1 visa, you first need to get your admission from your college of choice. Okay, get the admission of your college of choice. You also need to fill the DS-160 form. Just that when you are filling that form, you will see a part that says that, what are you going to do? And then you select that you are going to, please kindly mute out, please. Okay, kindly mute out if you're on the call. Thank you. So you will see a part that tells you that you could, whether you're going to study in the US, and then you pick that, and then it changes the routine of the questions. It changes the question routine, for you afterwards. Then, of course, like I said, you want to pay your service. Now, service is a student exchange fee. Okay, I think the last time I paid that fee, it was around 220 US dollars. So I wouldn't know if that fee has changed. Okay, you pay that fee. So there are certain fees you have to pay. Okay, you pay your service fee, pay your application fee. Okay, and then of course in getting your admission, you would need to have done some certain work. Maybe you have to get your transcript. So if you are doing F1 visa, okay, you one of the things you want to start doing is you get all your transcripts. Some schools in Nigeria will take you months to get transcripts. Okay, yes, like the one I went through, months. So start early on time to work on your transcript. You would need them to get, to get your admission in select schools. Some will have you use your result as they were, and then until later they ask you to submit the transcribed, version. Of course, you need your passport size photos. You need, in certain schools, you need to do IELTS, but in most of the schools, they can be waived for you, okay, because you come from an English-speaking country, or you were taught in English in in your in the degree you had before that particular one. Okay. Of course, too, for F1, you need strong ties to your home country. Whether you have a wife, or you have children, or you have aged parents, or you have siblings you come back to, you need to prove that you are going to come back to Nigeria. That is important. Okay. And of course, the visa interview process. So I'm going to be running through some of these things, and then we're going to take questions that will allow me to dissect and give some certain details on each of the processes, because I want to be able to address your questions directly and provide certain clarity. Okay. Um, okay. So that said, okay, the US permanent residency is one particular visa, is a visa, okay, that I'm very excited about. Okay. I'm very excited about because of the power that comes with obtaining it. Okay. I know that many of us who are trying to get B1, B2 visas or F1 visas, we have other long-term goals, right? Yeah, we know we have other long-term goals. But, and some of them, or one of those long-term goals is this one I'm talking about. So, which is why sometimes, why not just go straight? Why not just go straight? Yeah, if you cannot do this one, why not do this one from Nigeria? And do you know that you can actually get a US permanent residence visa from your bedroom? You don't have to go anywhere. The only place you have to go to, if you go anywhere, is to go to the embassy for what I will call formal sighting and formal interview, which more often than not would end up in you getting the PR visa. Now, what is a permanent residence visa? It's also known as a green card. Before now, Nigeria used to be in the green card lottery, okay, which I think ended in 2009, 2010. I remember once, putting in for diversity, visa lottery. I just stumbled on it in Ikeja. I was like, what are you doing? They're buying tickets for DV lotteries. How much is it? I think it's 700 naira. Just give me one. I didn't know what. Let me just put it for you, right? But I did not get it. So many Nigerians who were participating in it, at the time, were coming in through the visa lottery. Okay, but Nigeria was scrapped out of that list. Why? I'll answer that question. The reason is that for a country to be on the visa lottery list, your country must not have had people migrate, not visit, not coming to study, migrate to the US. You must not have produced more than 50,000 people migrating to the US in the last 5 years. So, which means if at any point in time they sum the number of people who have come into the US permanently from that country and is more than 50,000, that country cannot participate in that year's visa lottery. So, which means that for the last 14 years or thereabouts, Nigeria has been sending more than 50,000 people to the US permanently. As in, there's been people coming to the US to live permanently, more than 50,000 over the preceding 5 years. So let's even break it down and say at least 10,000 per year. So it means that at least 10,000 Nigerians are getting green cards through not just a particular means, through all the available means are coming to the US. And that number of green cards includes green cards for them and members of their family, dependents, whether they be father, they be mother, they be wife or children. So what does that tell you? It tells you that a lot of people are coming to the US with green cards from Nigeria. Okay, so how are they doing it? I would share right now. So it's a status that you have in the US that is close to you being a citizen. Okay, very powerful. What is one of my reasons for wanting to be a green card holder? Because of the ultimate power that comes with being a US resident. There are so many. Okay, so I just want to give you an insight into why I believe that we should take action with what we're learning. Okay, most of the time, like I don't feel very comfortable talking about all the amazing things happening, for people, for Nigerians, for people, or even for me in the US. Why? Because it almost feels like a fantasy to people who are not here. They feel like, it's like, all these guys that go to UK now. Oh, UK is this, UK is that. You become fed up with all their UK shenanigans and stories. You feel like, what are these? Like, is UK heaven? It's not heaven. But there is there's a wide gap of difference between these two systems, Nigeria and there's a wide gap of difference. There are sometimes I'm almost helplessly perplexed. Like, when are we going to get here as a country? When are Nigerians going to be able to have access to this kind of life? I remember a few years ago, Kate Enshaw was talking about it's not just enough to have money in Nigeria. Yes, you can have, you can be making good money in Nigeria, doing. Nigeria remains a green field for so many things. Forget all the economic crisis. Yes, I know. But let me tell you, many of the guys who are actually here in the US, they have other long-term plans to invest in mighty things in Nigeria that they will retire to, or that they would look back to. Yeah, some of the great guys. Why? Because it's a green investment field. As long as you have the resources, and you have the system. And we are hoping that both policies and laws are put in place to safeguard those investments. So the point is that you cannot underestimate the power of being a resident in a country that is adjudged the most powerful in the world economically. Look at the currency, for example. We are struggling to measure up to the US currency. Okay, so you want to take it seriously. There's an opportunity for you to get a green card. Why not go for it? Okay, so like I said, the US green card holders have many rights. They have ability to work in any part of the country. They do any job they want to do. Okay, they can travel internationally to certain countries even without visas. Okay, so, or if they need visas, they get it readily because they have residence in a country that is adjudged globally safe for its residents or citizens to travel from. So you cannot underestimate the power of that, kind of visa. Some of the types of US green card visas or US permanent residence that we have. We have the family-sponsored ones. Family-sponsored one is, oh, my father is a citizen. Okay, he can file for me. Yes, your father can file for you. Your mom can file for you. If you have a parent who is a citizen, they can file for you. If you have, if you have a spouse, okay, who is a citizen. So let's say, for example, you travel into the US on a B1, B2 visa, and in the course of maybe your 1 or 2 months, you find somebody, and both of you struck up a relationship, and you feel like, this could actually head somewhere, and you get married, and the person is either green card holder or a citizen. Okay, they can actually file for you to get a green card. They can file for you to get a green card. So those are family-sponsored green cards. Now, the employment-based green card is what I will major on. So I'll quickly skip it and go to the next. Diversity visa lottery, I've talked about that, which is the visa lottery. Nigeria has been out of it for many years now because we have a high number of people migrating to the US, and so we do not qualify to be a part of that. So, people are using other means to get it. There are so many things I cannot say on the platform because I don't want anybody to abuse any of the processes. So, refugee or asylee. Okay, so you travel to the US, maybe on a B1, B2 visa or F1 visa, and you say, oh, I'm a target in my country, I'm a political target. In fact, as a matter of fact, the government have declared me wanted for certain things. I cannot go back. Okay, can you please grant me asylee status? Yes, you can file for asylum in the US and you get a green card. However, when you get that green card, you cannot visit your country until you become a citizen. Okay, you cannot, because what you have told them is that my country is not safe for me. So why do you want to visit the country that's not safe for you? But when you become a citizen, you can go back to that country. Why? Because you are now an American. So that country that's looking out for you would have reduced powers on you as an entity because the US can now claim ownership to you as well. They can say, okay, right now he's a citizen of ours. So what's the problem? You cannot do as you wish. We have to also know what's going on. So there are conditions to being or refugee. Maybe there's fights, breakouts, crises, Boko Haram, blah, 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 find your way in the US and you want to file for refugee status. Of course, you can do that. Okay, then there's the investor-based green card. It's actually a part of the employment-based green cards that I will major on, okay? And then we have the special programs. So special programs are programs like maybe there's this one that is the Haiti program. There's what we call the temporary protection status for certain citizens from Cameroon and other selected countries of the world. There are also programs on people from countries like Afghanistan, like Iran, okay, so those special programs, maybe when the US was fighting wars in those regions, they were locals that were helping US military officials to translate local language. So when they're going, they help the US to understand, okay, this was going on here, this was going on here. So those special programs are to give green cards to those people that worked or helped certain US programs in foreign countries to succeed. So they provided them with a green card process. To say, okay, if you support us, we're going to give you a green card. So that is where this comes from, special programs. So let me go back to employment-based green cards. There are 5 of them. Okay, this is a very, very powerful means to come to the US. Again, there are over 130 classes of visas. So there are so many that will not have, maybe subsequent editions, we can talk about them. There are so many. For example, if you're a journalist, this is outside employment based. If you're a journalist, you can come to the US. Okay. I have a friend who were in Unilag together. He was also a radio presenter at Unilag FM. He went to the embassy and said, I need a journalist visa, a media person visa. I'm coming to cover an event for my radio station in the US. That was how the gentleman came in. He came in and then found an amazing love. It was actually real love, and they struck up a relationship, and the person filed for him, for green card. And it's been, I want to believe the gentleman is already a citizen right now. Okay, so he's been in the US. And how did he come in? He told me he came with a media visa. So there are visas for athletes. Okay, I want to come and participate in athletics, maybe in the Olympics or in this. There's a visa for that. There are visas for artists. Okay, you want to come and do it. So there are so many classes of visas. Okay, so you want to know that as well. Like I said, over 130. But the employment-based visa is a category that is very powerful and that can be taken advantage of on a large and a broad spectrum. One of it is the EB1. So I'll just run through each of them and you will see or be able to tell where you fall under. Okay, so the EB1 visa, now this is I'm talking about right off from my head, because already, like I said, I have been through many of the processes. Okay, I have done B1, B2 before. And by the way, okay, maybe this can help somebody. By the way, I have never applied for a US visa, visiting visa, and used B2. Okay, I've never used B2. Why? Personal sentiment. Like I said, I will be sharing my own personal stories and what worked for me. So maybe you want to see 1 or 2 senses in that, So you are coming from a relatively economically challenging or challenged country, okay? And they look at your profile. So how much really do you make in a year? It was like when I was filing for a green card process 2 years ago, and the lawyer, the attorney asked me, so how much do you make in a year? When I told her how much I made in a year, she just laughed like, oh my God, that is ridiculous. Why? Because when you convert that money to dollar, is chicken change like this, chicken change. So why am I saying that? So basically, if you're coming to the US for tourism from Nigeria, it means that your annual income must be heavy. Because for you to come and spend money in dollars, it means that at least your 1 month salary should be able to, take care of a lot of stuff. So, but if, for example, you're making, say 3 million a year or 4 million, I mean, Nigerians are even making 4 million a year, and you want to apply for a B2 visa to come and do tourism in the US, they convert that money you make in a year, they convert it to dollar, it becomes maybe like $2,000, and your flight alone is $1,000. So it's like you are spending your entire annual income on a vacation of 2 weeks. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And you cannot see somebody is sponsoring you to come and do tourism. Like, who sponsors you for tourism? Who sponsors you? That is not your father or your mother. So it becomes complicated. For you to get a B2 visa, you must be able to legitimately show proof of funds that can come from either what you earn per month and then ultimately per year to show that you are financially capable to come to US for fun. Okay, so which is why most Nigerians, I mean, I don't know how people are able to go to the USA and convince them that they're coming to spend the holiday. You will sound a bit ridiculous unless, like I said, you can prove and they can go on the system in split seconds and check and say, what does this guy do online? Okay, which again, when it comes to visa interviews, right? So just take the points as I'm dropping them. Okay, when it comes to visa interviews, a lot of things are looked at. Remember that a couple years ago, they started asking people to put in their social media handles, your Facebook, your WhatsApp, your Facebook, your Instagram, and your LinkedIn. Why? They want to be able to assess who you are. What's your social capital? What kind of person are you? What do you do? What's the quality of your personality? Okay, they are choosy, yes, and they deserve the choice to be. Trump said a few years ago, he said the US is like a table that has a lot of sugar on it. He said ants will crawl up from all the corners of the table to come and eat that sugar. Yeah, he said that. So he said our job is to keep the ants away or to reduce their numbers, which is why Trump is very known for keep America safe, put Americans first. I don't want all these people coming in. But then again, that's a different policy. So what that means is, if you want to come to the US on a B1, B2, I strongly feel that you have a strong chance of success if you're coming as a B1. So I've always used a B1. My first visa was a B1. I was coming to represent Nigeria. My second visa was a B1. I was coming to speak at a conference in the US. My third visa was also a B1. Okay, I was also coming as also a speaker at another event. So look at that. Okay, look at that. So that could make a lot of difference. So the purpose for which you're coming, your economic profile, your social capital rating, many of these things can determine whether really what you say you're coming for is what you're coming for. Okay, but if you say you're coming for a conference or a business meeting, or you're coming for some related business purposes, you could have fairer chances of being considered. Okay, all right. So employment visas, there are 5 of them. Number 1 is the EB1. The EB1 has about 2 categories or 3. So the EB1 has what is called the EB1A. So the EB1 is the employment-based visa, and the EB1 is the employment-based visa for certain people who are exceptional professionals. They call them extraordinary persons. And the first one is for those who are professionals, professors, researchers, and certain high-level academicians. That's EB1. So the US values education a lot, which is why they place them at the top of the ladder. That certain professors, certain people who do research, let's give them green cards. Why? Because they believe in the power of information and knowledge. Let's give them green cards. So if you are a professor or a prof in your family, that person could easily get a green card. Easily get a green card. So I spoke to a professor a few weeks ago. I said, sir, why are you not considering coming to the US and resettling? I mean, if you want to, why? Because you have what it takes. You can easily get an EB1, EB1A. Okay. So if you're also a scholar, right? You are a scholar, like you have articles on Google, Scholar, you have published articles, because I had a friend who came to do a PhD program in Harvard, okay, that I met here in the US. He has written many textbooks on physics, on advanced mathematics, on this and that. And he just easily got an EB1. Why? He's a scholar. So you could get an EB1. So if you are a scholar, okay, you get I'm giving you the basic requirements and qualifications to get an EB1. I go to EB2. EB2 is employment-based visa category 2, and it has 2 categories. The first category is for those who are exceptional beings. Okay, again, let me mention that in the US category, in the US explanation of extraordinary persons, right, one of the requirements is that you should have, or you could have, for example, they give general examples. Say, for example, you've won a Nobel laureate. A Nobel laureate award, which again, the only person in Nigeria that has it is Professor Wole Soyinka, right? Automatically you are qualified for an EB1, or you've won a Grammy. So all the Nigerian artists who have won Grammys, they can automatically get an EB1 if they apply for it. Why? Because they've shown exceptional, results in their crafts. So whether it's business, whether it's art, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's academics, there are about those categories that if you have shown exceptional results in any of them, you can get a green card from Nigeria. From Nigeria. So I'll tell you how the process goes. So number 2 is now the EB2. The EB2 is you have shown exceptional, person and ability in your field, okay? Or you have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, okay? Or you have a bachelor's degree and 5 years of post-graduation experience. You can get an EB2, the regular EB2, okay? Now, if you now have a bachelor's degree, a post 5-year work experience, or you have a master's degree, and you have been able to also distinguish yourself in certain areas of human endeavor. Say, for example, you are a human capital development expert. You've been able to help 5,000 people to understand business modeling, okay, and you have results for it. Or say, for example, you are a doctor who has been able to help XYZ number of people to avoid or manage certain sickness, and you have results for it. You have a database to show what you're doing, okay? Certain skills that you've developed and you have been known for them over the years, you have contributed significantly to humanity. You can qualify for the second category of EB2, which is called the Employment-Based Visa Category 2, for persons seeking national interest waiver. So that one simply means that you're telling the US government, see, I'm not just a professional. I'm a professional that you need. You need me, okay? Why? Why do you need to say that they need you? For the first category of EB2, the US requires you to have what is called labor certification. Canada also does it. Some other countries in the 5 eco country, they also do it. So they ask you to go through the labor system that will indicate that your job is required in the system, that they don't have people in the system that can do the same job, or if they do, they are not enough. So let's have this person coming. So they have to certify you. That process can take anything from 6 months to 1 year. But when you get that, you are easily able to get the EB2, the regular EB2. However, if you have been able to distinguish yourself, you've gotten certain national awards or international awards, you have publications in the newspaper about what you've done and all of that. So which, again, like I will advise you, right? So as I'm saying these things, you grab certain tips again. You want to put your work out there. Do not joke with certain things that you do, okay? So if, for example, let's say you're a fashion designer now, okay? How seriously do you take your craft? How much do you talk about your crafts? How much do you take amazing pictures, you put them online? Or you get a blog, talk about the work I'm doing. This is an exceptional fashion designer. I do XYZ, I do get people to model your clothes. Like in Nigeria, I have certain guys who say, please, I can do amazing clothes for you. Okay, just help me wear them. And I take pictures. Sometimes I tag them. How often do you take your work seriously? I put it in the face of people. It's called publication. You're publishing your work. You need some of these things in a category like this. They want to see that your work is out there. They can go online and check you out and say, okay, this person has 1 or 2, 3 things about what they do. That means they have honed their skills to a level where people in the public can take advantage of their skills. So national interest waiver is to tell the US government, you need me. So I need you to waive me to have to qualify for the job by going to labor certification. So strike out labor certification process for me. Okay, so it's called the EB2 NIW. It's a very powerful visa category, green card visa category that many Nigerians can take advantage of if you only know the way. that I'm talking about. So publish your work, newspapers, in blogs, on website, have a website, do what you're doing and do it very well. Talk about it. Okay, they're going to ask you for those things. But what they do is that they say, okay, this person has been able to do X, Y, Z. We have seen person has amazing online presence, has amazing digital footprint. So because of this, let's just waive them having to go through labor law and all that. Let's just give them the green card straight away. So many people go through that route because it saves them time and stress, and also the uncertainty of not getting labor certified. That is EB2 NIW. Then we have the EB3. EB3 is called the Employment Based Visa Category 3 for skilled workers. Okay, so let's say, for example, you are a very skillful website designer. Okay, very skillful. You design website for government, design website for multinationals, or you're very, amazing software tech person, but maybe you don't have the some of the academic qualifications to back it up. You could look into being a beneficiary of the EB3 for skilled workers. Okay, that's EB3. Now there's EB4 that is a special category of visa for people who are in the religious setting. Okay, so let's say, for example, XYZ Church in Nigeria has branches in America, and I want to send a pastor from Nigeria to come and head a parish in New Jersey, or in Louisiana, or in California from Nigeria. They would apply for a visa called the EB4, religious visa, for that person. However, that person can only be employed by that organization. You cannot do any other work in the US. You must only work for that organization. So it has a limitation. Okay, I once had a church willing to do that for me. Oh, we love what you do and all that. I said, yeah, but I don't want the limitation of I can only work with the church. I want to be able to do a lot of things in this place. So I decently turned it down. They say, oh, you don't know what you're missing. People are trying to get these. Yeah, but thank God I had other options. If I didn't have no option, I would have gone for it. Right? So EB4 visa is for that category. The final one is EB5. EB5 is the one you have here that is investor or investment based. So what they're basically asking to do is let your money speak for Oyeniyi. Do you have the money? If you have 850,000 US dollars, take that money, go and invest it in a less economically developed US community or states. Go and invest the money there, create businesses, buy real estate, and give people housing, meet a crucial, critical US need, either employment or housing. Then the investment is yours, by the way. You still your investment, but you're investing in money in the economy. They give you a green card for you and your direct dependents. So, which one you now think is easier for you of these 5 categories? Okay, readily, most people will qualify for EB2. Okay, will qualify for EB2. Now, for EB2, like I said, just meet the requirements and you can get the process done from Nigeria. What are the requirements? Number 1, get your transcripts, either for your bachelor's or master's degree or for both. Get it done to US standard. Either use WES or use IEE or use any of the NACES. NACES is a body that regulates the transcription of results from other countries to US education standards. So they call it evaluation. So you do any of that, you get that, put it down. Okay. Then you want to define what you've been doing. What have you been doing? Get all the proofs. You have awards, get them. Get the proofs of those awards. Oh, I was given an award, in XYZ. Many of the guys in Nigeria. So I think I was telling somebody yesterday, I said 2 years ago, I met some of the, these top shots that in the speaking industry in Nigeria. Jimmy Tewe, Steve Harris, and a few others. They came to New York to attend the Commission on Status of Women, at the UN. And I met them, all of them. And what are you guys doing? Of course, I know they've been in the US, and then including guys like Chris Rowe. These guys all went through EB2. Why? They saw ahead that, you know what? we have what it takes now. Let's move to another economy that probably will give us more profitability for our efforts, or at least we can command a greater economic value. So they got in on the band, on the wagon, and here they are. Many of them are relocated. So, but incidentally, these are things that normal, regular people can do. So the EB2, I would recommend for many people who are trying to get green cards. You apply for it, you pay for the agency, you pay for the application fee from Nigeria. The application fee is roughly $720 right now. They're trying to increase it in April, 1st of April. They want to review up because there's a backlog. COVID caused a backlog in the number of green cards that are processed. So the United States Customs and Immigration Services, which is USCIS, is trying to get more money from applicants so that they can employ more hands to process the cases faster. Why? Because the US Congress cannot allocate more money right now. So they say, okay, applicants should pay for it so they can get their cases approved faster. They don't have to wait for years, couple years, or before now, people get green cards in less than 1 year. You apply in 3 months, your petition is approved, and in 1 year you get your green card. But now it's taking upwards of 1 year and above, based on the category that you go for. The fastest route to get an EB visa, right? The fastest route that is not money-based, forget EB5 now, is employment visa category 1. Why? Because very few people qualify for it because of very high standards of requirements. Okay, very few qualify for it. Very few are professors, of course. Very few are scholars. Very few have those kind of stringent demands or rules that you have to meet. So because of that, there are visas, because they allocate visas per number to certain categories. For EB1, so you have like 10,000. So how many professors that want to come to the US that are 10,000 in a particular country in particular. So the category is visa available, visa ready for you. Okay, so we'll look at that EB2 critically, and then we'll see how you can apply. My goal for this webinar is I want you to make an informed choice. Which one do you want to do? If you want to have a B1, B2 visa, okay, that's fine. You want to come and go. Some people want that. Come and go. But please, if you are coming with EB1, with B1, B2, and your goal is to eventually stay in the US or eventually transit, you can't do it haphazardly. You're going to ruin your immigration journey. You have to come back to any of these categories, or you want to, maybe you get married to a permanent resident visa holder, or a citizen. Okay, if you come in, I'll be very practical with you. I've had people that I've known that came in like that, and they got their journeys ruined because they have, I have a B1, B2 now, come in, and you stay back. When you stay back, you become undocumented. You become an illegal immigrant. A journey is not easy. It's not easy. Okay, you will not be able to do so many things. You'll be living under the radar, under fear, under intimidation of being deported or caught and all that. If you run into the police at any point in time, you don't have the confidence to even argue your case out because you don't have a legal status. So I had a guy who came to a conference 2 years ago and stayed back. And then, of course, if you stay back, you have only 6 months to do certain things. And he didn't take advantage of that because, of course, again, you have to have planned for all of those things in advance. So even if you want to eventually come into this and leave and you get a B1, you must start planning for what you want to do before you come in, because your time starts counting from the day you come in, and you cannot stay beyond. So there are certain technicalities that I will have to explain in order. I would have to go into certain details. You must not do this. You must not do this. If you want to do this, you can do, but you must not do beyond this time so that you can still be in the clear to get XYZ. So the gentleman has now been in the US now for 3 years, stranded. He used to be an amazing guy in Nigeria, but he was not informed, was not guided. He's stranded. He cannot, if he leaves the US today, he cannot travel to either US, Canada, Australia, UK, or New Zealand. He cannot. He's going to be banned for 10 years. Why? He has overstayed his visa. Meanwhile, he could have easily transited into any of the categories that I've mentioned, even while in on a B1, B2 visa, which is the part that I took. Okay, so you come in, you cannot stay unless you find a legal means to transit or change your visa. That process is called adjustment of status, because you have a non-immigrant status with your B1, B2. and you want to adjust status to an immigrant status. Okay, so if you're also coming for F1, yes, F1 too is not an immigrant status visa. It means you are going back to your country. So if you now want to actually get a green card, you have to also start working on this. Okay, so there was a particular lady that reached out to me. She came in to study at University of Indianapolis, Notre Dame University in Indianapolis. And she said, I would like you to help me. I mean, I want to, luckily for her, she came in with her family. Okay. So, you know, I mean, for some of us who know me, my US travels, many of them, I was not coming in with my family. Okay. Because my wife had her own job to do. She had a lot of things to do in Nigeria. So we could not always be tagging along in many of these journeys. So I was coming and going. I was coming and going. But ultimately, we had our plans. So for me, I came in and I felt, okay, I mean, there's an opportunity here for me to do X, Y, Z. And knowing what God has, because I mean, so my own story for walking into from B1 to green card process was that in one of the events that I attended to speak, as soon as I was done speaking at this event, and which reminds me of something that's very, very important, you know, that I said is one of the vision that drives me. So I was invited to come and speak at a conference in Washington. And then when I came in, when I was done speaking, actually when I was speaking, a particular young man stood up in the audience and took the mic. I thought I was going to ask a question, but he said, ladies and gentlemen, I came all the way from North Carolina to talk about something that has changed my life forever. And he said, you see this gentleman up there, this man, God used him to change my life forever. I knew where it was going, okay, because this is a story that I've never shared on my platform. And I will not give name or give any hints. But the gentleman was a secondary school graduate in 2015. When I came into the US 2015, I went back to Nigeria. I had an invitation to speak at a conference. I speak somewhere in Agege. They had several hundreds of young teenagers and secondary school leavers. When I got there, I spoke to them and I said, if you have a very good O-level result, send it to me. I have a friend in the US who is willing to see what you qualify for in terms of scholarship. We will put in for you and see where that takes you. So I had many results submitted to me, but again, not many of them had exceptional O-level results. Okay. I mean, we can't be talking about C, 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 C. That's not exceptional. We're talking about A's and B's, maybe more A's than B's. So the only person that had an exceptional, an exceptional O-level result, closest to what we need, was this gentleman. He had finished secondary school, and he was just when I was trying to write UTME. No money to go. The family was financially challenged, but he had a good result. So I sent that result to my friend in the US. Okay, look at this thing, my guy. What can we do? Can this guy get a scholarship? Can he get admission? And he said, yes, we can get him something, you know. And they got him an admission and a scholarship. And this gentleman, in May, I met him for the first time in May. I did not know him from Adam. I met him at that event. Sent his result to US. They looked at it, evaluated it, and I felt it was good for a scholarship. They gave him a scholarship. He traveled to the US by September of that year. And he has been in the US since then legally. He was 15 or so at the time. 15 or 16. Was a very small boy. But he just in secondary school. Now, I mean, look at 2015 to now. I mean, the boy is about 20, 24, 25. He's a big boy. When he came to Washington, he came in his car. So I have a car, I have my own place, my own apartment. You know, I came here as a boy, not knowing my way, but you gave me a life-saving opportunity. You changed the parents call me and say, when I wedded, they ran to the wedding. That you don't know what you did for us. You just changed our entire family. I said, it's not me, it's God. You know, your son just happens to be the person that was chosen for that opportunity. I didn't have option. I was just the instrumentality. Okay, so the young man came to that event to come and talk about it. He positively embarrassed me because I wasn't expecting that kind of testimony. I didn't know he was coming to say that. So, but he said it. So when he was done saying that, and I was stepping out from the stage, coming down, a woman walked up to me and gave me a card and said, with what you have in your profile, you can get a green card. See, I don't know about it. You can get a green card. So just take my card, call me, and then let's get talking. I'm a lawyer. That was a journey for me. I didn't take it seriously again because, of course, there were other demands and other expectations and all that. I said, okay, I don't have the time. Until 2019, 2020, when she came in, I said, I've been telling you about this thing. What are you doing? You can get a green card, get, for your wife, for your children and all of that. You can change your entire family, which again is my challenge to you. If any of us or any of you here takes on any of these steps and you work hard to get it done, you would have successfully changed an entire generation. Okay, we can change an entire generation. Some of us are the the saving powers and saving graces of entire families and multiple entire families in Nigeria, not because one person was able to find their way into the system. So whether for economic reasons, whether for business reasons, whether for future long-term or reasons, take advantage of it. The US is an amazing, amazing country. Amazing country. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about it, but it's an amazing, the system in place is superb. Okay. There are ready jobs in the US. I remember somebody commenting, they say, when you come into the US today, you will get job today. And it's the truth. It's the truth. You come in today, you will get job that same day. So, and they pay you every week or pay you, bi-weekly every 2 weeks. And that fund can be for you your starting capital for many of the things you've always wanted to do. So you want to look at that from the bigger angle, from the bigger picture. What can this do for me? What can it do for my family? Okay, what can it do for my dependents? Look at it as a long-term investment. Okay, you don't want to bring children or raise a family and then you cannot entrust. I told myself I don't want my children to struggle with visas, but thankfully I did not struggle with visas per se. Right? But I don't want them to have to deal with, okay, I want to, because I have friends. I have people that just wake up and say, I'm going to China. Like I have one of my young, my juniors from secondary school came to meet me, in New York a few weeks ago and said, I go China. I said, what do you mean go China? Yes, I said, I came in and then I got my green card in 2 years. I'll give another tip, right? He joined the military. And in 6 months, he got citizenship. It was amazing. When he joined the US military, which again, what many Nigerians are doing, when he joined the US military, whether the Navy, the Marines, the Army, the Air Force, you go to the academy. As you come back from the academy after 6 months, they naturalize you immediately and give you a blue passport. So now he can travel. So they wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to the UK. Okay. And they buy a ticket at the airport, jump on the plane with flip-flops, with slippers, bathroom slippers. Say, I'm just going to UK and come back. UK is just 6 hours away from the US. And they step in there and they are back the following day. Is that powerful? But they want to go to China or they want to go to Australia. They don't need visas. They step in and they come back. Okay. Some of them even said, one of them told me how much fun he has with the stuff. And say, sometimes I go with my Nigerian passport and my US passport. And when I get to the US, when I get to the border, I present my Nigerian passport and I say, what? How did you get on the plane with your Nigerian passport? You need a visa. Say, is there a visa in there? There's no visa in here. How did you come in on it? They want to start making a scene of it. No, relax. So I made a mistake. And he gives them his American passport. I say, what are you doing? How could you make such a mistake? He just wanted to see how things can turn around when you present a different document. So the point I'm making is that look at it from the picture of the endless opportunities that this give you. Okay, and go through. It's not going to come easy. It's not going to come easy. But if you give it what it requires, it can change the rest of life for you. I'll leave it at that. Okay. So I would just want to take a few questions. Like I said, there are details I need to touch on, but it's a very broad subject area. So in the group, what we'll be doing is that we will have a support system. To be a support system, okay? People that want to go for maybe interviews or people that want to apply for permanent residency, Again, I'll put a disclaimer. I am not an agent. I am not a licensed immigration attorney. I'm not a licensed consultant. And I'm not saying that to say, oh, because people say, yes, I'm not. However, I can provide you with certain information. I can provide you with certain support system. I can provide you with certain select services that can aid your getting some of these documents, particularly if your goal is a green card. I can help you. Okay, so I've been doing this under the radar for a while. Under the radar, like, so let me just try, whether my level of, again, because again, I'm a green card, I'm in a green card process. Okay, and the journey has been very, like I shared on Facebook, very exposing and enlightening for me. I spent money. I once approached an attorney to help me with the petition, and the man told me his bill was $8,000 fee only. Only his fee was $8,000. Some charge $10,000. I need to ask an immigration question. Says, okay, how can I get this? Like the answers I'm giving to you, many of them are very specialized answers. You can't find them on the street. You can't find them. You just can't find them randomly. You have to really, really dig deep, and you have to know exactly how to navigate this information. So I told a woman attorney that I need to ask her certain questions. She said I should go on our website and schedule a 30 minutes consultation process. When I got there, the checkout price was $500. Was $500. I paid that money because I needed that information. I paid it, and we got on the call. She spent only 45 minutes. How many minutes have I spent here now? I spent over an hour. Only 45 minutes, and my $500 was gone. So some other guys will give you 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and charge you $150. Okay, but I'm not doing that because I know many of us cannot afford it. But if only we have the opportunity and the information, we can begin to build little by little to get to the, to the eventual goal. My goal is to help people whose goal is to also come to the US, to come there, to come. Like I said, the gentleman that came to the US in 2015, he has brought in his brother, he has brought in his cousin, and I'm very sure he's trying to bring in his family. So through him already, like 2-3 people are coming to the US. Okay, a gentleman approached me and said, okay, so his own case was even a bit more complicated because he was already in the US, and he left his family with kids in Nigeria. His son was last seen at 4 months. I think his son was 4 months when he left the family. And was like, we just met randomly on the platform. We're like, see, bro, thank God you're a Nigerian. Please, what can you do for me? How can I go and see my family? I'm afraid if I leave this country, I cannot come back, because I overstayed, I did this, I did that, and all that. So, again, I spent hours on ending researching. That was why, like I did also see in one of my posts, I was able to, we ended a contract with a particular attorney because, again, she felt, you're not letting me do my job. Yeah, because I felt she was slow. She was not giving me the right information. Right. So what I did was I went online and I did my research. And I saw that, oh, I could actually do this on my own. I could get this, I could get this, I could get this. Okay. And I did it. And what I wanted to do, that I was waiting for to do for 7 months, I got it by myself in 1 week, in 1 hour. I just went, did all the filings, did all the calls, went to, United States Customs and Immigration Services office in Brooklyn. And I met with the officers. I had an interview with them. They said, okay, let's just sit over there. Sit over there. We'll come and we'll let you know our decision. And they went and I said, okay, here's your document. You're all set and good to go. What? So, at the time, what I needed was a document called travel document. So travel document or advanced parole is a document that enables you to travel and come back to the US if you don't have a US visa. Okay, so that's a different area again entirely for those who are in the US. So for me, that was the process I took. I came into the US and this attorney said, okay, let's help you start a green card process. And I commenced the process from within the US while I was visiting. Again, that is legal. Okay, so while I was visiting, and then I said, okay, what's for my family? So no, it's fine. Once you get approved, the family is going to go to the embassy in Nigeria. They're going to give all of them visas. So I said, oh, that's fine. Okay, so that explains why, I have to come and go, because my family now has to go to the embassy and get visas. Okay, so if you're doing from within the US and you're not with your family, that's the same process too. Okay, so you will get the green card from within the US. Your family you have to schedule them to go to the embassy and get the visas, your wife and your children, and then they will come in and join you. But in the meantime, you can always go back to Nigeria as often as you want. Spend time, come back, get things done, and go back. Okay, so however, if you come into the US, for example, with your family, all of you coming to visit, and you start this process, all of you can within the US also get a green card given to you. So that was what this my friend in Notre Dame did. She reached out to me. Oh, Joshua, how can I, I'm here I'm on an F1 visa. I think I want to stay. Of course, who doesn't want to stay? I think I want to stay. They did very well. The husband won $100,000 grant from Google a few years ago. So they're doing very, very well. They get a lot of grants, a lot of funding, running their businesses. So, but again, it's not just about getting the money and living in Nigeria. Like Kate Henshaw said a few years ago, many of these celebs who are, so to say, financially stable, they don't get the kind of quality of life that their colleagues in the US are getting. So the quality of life is one of the deciding factors for determining whether you want to travel or not. So again, these are personal preferences, very personal. I'm just giving, like I said, my own, personal sentiment and experience. So, and I said, okay, this is what you're going to do. Okay, do you have money to pay attorney? She said, no. I tell you how to do it yourself, DIY. So this is what you're going to do. I will give you a template that I used, okay? And you model your stuff after that template. That was it. Oh, she said, please, I would love you to just send it to me. I can do it. I'll take the time. She was working with the World Bank at the time. She still does work with the World Bank, but she called me a few months ago, super excited. So I sent her my template, my document, and then she was able to adapt it, filling all the gaps, remove my personal stuff, blah, 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 blah. And then she applied. And then she paid for what is called premium processing, which again, like I said, we're going to go into some of these details. For some of us who are very familiar with the process, you know what I'm talking about. Premium processing, blah, blah, blah. You know all of those things. I will talk about them in proper details and explain. Okay, we're going to do specialized and segmented webinar, so that if, for example, you want to do it's just B1, B2, that day it should just be B1, B2 we talk about. If yours is F1, that day we'll go through everything F1. If yours is green card, you go through the particular green card process that you want to do. And then we'll now have a session for doing test runs of interview questions at the embassy. Okay, how can you have pass your interviews? How can you convince that consular officer that I qualify for this visa? I qualify for this visa. So I've been, like I said, very lucky and privileged and blessed to have gotten at least 3 visas granted. Okay.
Oh, so big money.
So you want to mute Betty? Okay, I'm going to mute you. Thank you. So we'll have questions asked momentarily. So, but to put it closer to what I was just saying about that, my friend in Notre Dame, she applied from within the US. So thankfully, she was able to come in with her family. She was able to come in with her 2 kids when she was coming to do a PhD program. Okay, so which again, for those who are doing F1, the kind of program you're coming for can significantly improve your chances at the embassy when you go for interview. Okay, you are more likely, if you have your stuff put together, to get a visa for a PhD program. Okay, that's not to say that you cannot get for bachelor's or master's. You will get. I'm not telling you that there are different level of chances. People get for bachelor's. Again, the type of college, because in 2019, I also applied for a student visa from within the US. I applied to University of Central Missouri for for a student visa. And I got all the documentation, F1 and everything all done. So again, I am conversant with all of the processes. That's why I said I can help you. Okay. And I'm not charging you, at least not yet. So unless you require me to get involved on a one-on-one basis, but if it is like this, one to all, I give it to you. So the young lady applied for a green card process last year, April, I believe. Yes, I think because it was during March or so that I told about it, and she applied. And by November, she called me, so excited. Said, Joshua, you don't believe it. My husband told me that a mail came in today in the mail. I said, what is it? We're so excited. We saw USCIS. We're like, oh my God, what's going on? What's going on? What could it be? By the time we opened it, we saw all our green cards. For me, my husband, my children. Said, I cannot believe it. That in less than 1 year, we all got green cards. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank God. Okay, so I'm happy that I'm able to, God is able to use me to change the fortunes of people who maybe either told my, and I did all of those things for free. Again, there's a satisfaction that comes with doing certain things for free. Okay, yeah. So yes, I need money, but not everything is money, but I need money. So I'll say to you, let's ask our questions, and then we can be able to close for the day. It's already, what's the by the time? Okay, we're already here for an hour 45 minutes already. So okay, so we have peace, we have perpetual. All right, so let me have peace ask a question. Okay, so peace, let's have you quickly.
Okay. Thank you very much. First of all, for can you hear me, please?
Very well. Loud
Okay.
and clear.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. For giving yourself, like giving very detailed information. I know that some people pay for this. However, I've asked my question in the chat button because I don't know.
Yeah,
So maybe you can just see them. I could maybe, I don't know if you want me to clarify, but I don't know.
Yeah, you
When
can
are we
add,
going to
because
be?
it will take me time now to begin to go through the charts. So just if you don't mind, ask the question directly.
Okay. So I have various questions. Let me go back to when you were asking. I don't know, maybe we are going to be doing everything at different times, but I have questions based on, because you were talking about someone that you helped for scholarship. I just wanted to find out for and I think that this question might help people in these categories too. For what are the documents needed for people that want to that you would suggest for people that are looking for a scholarship? You mentioned the age of 15 and all those ones. Okay, for people that are in that range, because I also for people that are in that range, first of all, and also for if, for example, people that are grown up want to also take the route of scholarship too, what are the documents that are needed? Like, what should people start gathering? So, is it in this program we are going to do that? That's one. Then, number two, my question is, for people that are also maybe in the vocational field, like you have welders, you have hairdressers, you have people that are fashion designer and all that. What are the documents? What should they start gathering now from henceforth, now that you had this webinar? And in terms of cost and all that, what should they be prepared for? That's second question. And then for people that have PR, that you are going for the PR, we've mentioned the EB1, EB2. For the EB2, those that have BSc and MSc, what is kind of the visa costs to look into? For what should we start preparing for? Is it in this webinar is going to be addressed, or is going to be addressed in the group and all that? Then lastly, for which is basically why my question. So all those other questions I've been asking generally, I'm asking because I've had people, one or two, I have people close to me that, okay, they are looking at this kind of thing, and I'm thinking, okay, But for me, I'm looking at if you're in other countries, for example, what kind of visa should you look into to get a PR with the US? What are the things, what are the documents you need? And then for those visa, for example, maybe you are in the UK and you want to get PR in the US, or you are in another country and maybe you are a permanent resident also, or you're on a work permit. How can you have green card with the US too? That's my question. What are the documents that are needed? Is it this webinar is going to be addressed, or is it on the group? So that's what I want to do. And then I also want to plead that maybe you should touch a little bit on the fees that are going to be paid. For example, if one is going to the UK, you have IHS fee and all this one. So it may not be the major thing, but something to look for, so that as people start preparing, now that we are informed, we can start saying, okay, this is the something to look out for in terms of the costs and plan, and how long, for example, if it's for the let's say for the UK now, just for an instance, I know I'm going to study.
I think I have a hold on some of the things that some of the questions you want me to answer will take a bit of a time for me to analyze. Because like I said, immigration or relocation or anything travel comes with a lot of information, and I would not want to give you half information because of time, so that you don't run with half information and then. So, but let me start with scholarship is not limited to age. You can get scholarship at about any age. My wife got a scholarship to University of Chicago. Okay, of course, for a master's degree, so she wasn't 15. So even at 30 or 40, the fact is that have you been able to distinguish yourself in preceding academic endeavors, okay, to show that you deserve a scholarship. Okay, so what's your first degree grade like? What's your master's degree grade like? Or what's your O-levels grade like? Like I told you, for that certain gentleman, it was because his O-levels was exceptional. Okay, so how many A's do you have? And remember, when they do the evaluation, right? US evaluation, your A starts from 90. In Nigeria, it's WAEC is 70 or 75. Okay, so the gap is there. When you do the evaluation, your result will drop. So it means that you must be very, very exceptional for you to get scholarship. But again, you can get scholarships relatively easier than what is touted out there. You just need to know yourself and know exactly how to apply for those scholarships. Even people who have 2-2 get scholarships. Even people who have 2-1 get scholarships, so that is for that. For documentation for vocational, like I said, I don't want to give you half information, but then you need to provide the certifications that you have acquired for those skills. There's a particular institute in, I think, is it in Yaba also at Jibo, where they have Lagos State Institute of Vocational Studies and all that. Places like that should have given you certifications, okay? Places of repute that are respectable in that skill. There was a time when it was this software, this IT company, NIIT in Nigeria, okay, because I once got an NIIT scholarship many years ago. So those kind of places giving you certain certifications for vocations that you have chosen shows that not only have you given it effort to hone that skill, but that you are recognized by respectable institutes. So those documents and other transcripts of your work, maybe publications of your work in certain, let's say, for example, you're like a fashion designer, and your work made it into a newspaper like Ovation. Yeah, Ovation of Daily Momodu. Okay, and you have those kind of websites, or maybe in the fashion segment of the Punch newspaper, your work is there. Oh, you have this style that are patented or copyrighted to you, develop certain styles, your creativity, your ingenuity, has been pushed out there. You need those proofs to show that you can, or that you do qualify for these visa categories. Then you also ask the question about setting of the fees. Yes, there are certain fees down the line that you have to pay for a green card process. To start with, you have to, of course, if you're going through a lawyer, you pay attorney fee, okay? But if you're doing it yourself, you take care of that yourself. You can do these things yourself. You just have to put in the work, okay? Put in the work. Then you have to pay for, of course, your evaluation to WES. I think WES evaluation can cost anywhere from 100 to 200 or thereabout plus dollars, right? You want to get your transcript from your school in Nigeria, your BSc transcript. Okay, in some cases, if you're coming for a bachelor's, you want to get your O-level transcript, your high school transcript from secondary school, you would need it. Okay, if you're coming for a bachelor's. If you're coming for a PhD, you need your master's degree transcript. You get all those things will cost you money down, across the lines. Then, of course, for your application fee, for certain of those processes, it can take anywhere from $720. Like I said, from April 1st, they're going to hike the fees, some of them by as high as 25%. Okay, so right now is $720. Okay, if you are adjusting in the US, adjusting means you are changing your visa category from non-immigrant to immigrant. You have to pay. These are information that I may not be able to go into details on because of time. Okay, it's about $1,220 in the US. If you are doing it from Nigeria, you will first pay your visa fee, which is $160. You will pay your NIV fee, MVC fee, National Visa Center fee. It's about $340. Then you would now pay for medicals. You do some medicals. You have to go to this place in Keja. There are centers where you can do your medicals. You pay for all of those things. So those are fees that will come to when we are talking about those particular processes. Fumi said something asked a question on the chat. Said when somebody does EB4, which is religious visa, can they change? Yes. So you can actually change if you have a legal status in the US. You can change your visa category. Oh, I don't want to just stay stuck to a church. I want to now get something else. So I can now apply for EB1. I can now apply for EB2. Yes, you can do that. You can always change. And you can have multiple cases or multiple petitions at the same time with the US government. So you can be applying for EB1, you can be applying for EB2, you can apply for EB3, you can be applying for EB4, and apply for EB5 if you meet all the qualifications. But you cannot be applying for EB1 and be applying for F1. They are counter, they are counter purpose. Okay, because F1 and B1 are non-immigrant status. What you are telling the US is that I need this visa because I want to come back to my country. But if you apply for any of the others, you are going to be saying that you want to stay in the US permanently. So let's go to Perpetual. Perpetual, let me have you on mute quickly. Please, 30 seconds, okay? So that we can have everyone ask their questions and I can answer, and then we can call it a wrap. I will announce the subsequent meetings. Okay. Again, like I said, I don't expect. In fact, I was only expecting about 50 people. I know people like bandwagon effect. Oh, I want to come out to attend, blah 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 blah, and then you cannot see them putting in the work. Again, it's normal. Okay. I already told myself today, guys, if I get 25%, that is an amazing number, which is what I got today. So it's amazing. I hope you guys are able to take advantage of this, run with it, and actually start getting your green cards or visas in no time.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Sorry, sir, please.
Okay,
My name is Ken. I'm sorry. I just wanted to, the last question that was asked, there was one that was asked that I'd like you to touch on. Some of us are not in Nigeria.
Well, let's finish.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wanted to see the possibility of how to move from another country. Like I'm in Europe now, but I would like to relocate to US with a permanent residency portfolio. So I think she asked something on that, but it would be nice if you can touch on that, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I may not exactly remember what she asked, but generally I can answer that you can always migrate to the US on a green card from anywhere in the world. You, however, need to provide some documentation from Nigeria, okay? Like, for example, a police report. Like I said, these are also information that I will give you when we are talking about that particular specialized case. We'll go through all the details that you need. So yes, you can actually come. You can start applying for your green card from where you are right now. You don't have to leave that place. You get everything. You get your immigration. You attend your interview process in the country that you are in. Okay, and then from there they will issue you the green card process. Okay, they will issue you the green card document, and then you come into the US and get your green card in the US. So you can do that with you and your entire family. Yes, you can. So whether it's UK or Canada, anywhere in the world. I had a colleague who just got his green card from China. Okay, so he just came in, just told me a few days ago, oh, bros, I'm here. Okay, you attend the interview process in China. Some attend the interview process in in Vietnam, some attend it in Dubai, anywhere you are in the world, go to that embassy. The only difference is that in certain embassies of the world, it's faster because they have lesser people applying for green cards from those countries. Again, so your location too can also influence how fast you get the green card.
All
I
right,
don't know
thank you.
if that answers
Yeah,
the question.
thank you. It's part of the question I was about to ask before you overshadowed me, Kelly.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah.
So, because I'm in UK right now, so I wanted to know if it's possible to apply for green card from where we are, and just like
Absolutely.
that, yeah, because I'm
Absolutely.
already running up
Yeah.
with my masters. I would not
Great.
want to go through study route again.
Mm-hmm.
I want to
Okay.
know the other
So
things I do to get a green card. So
great.
that's
Okay, so as somebody as well who has attempted, going through UK, at the point you try to use, okay, I told my wife, let's apply for study visas to any of these countries. So she got like 5-6 admissions. She's on the call right now. She got like 5-6 admissions to, she got like 3 admissions to institutions in the US. She got to UK, she got to Canada, like 2 or 3 as well. So we have gone through each of these processes. I can tell you a lot about each of them because I was very involved. I didn't involve certain kind of agents. Okay, we are do it yourself people. All right, so you can get it and come in and you can do it on your own. But if you want help, yeah, you can let me know. See how we can work together.
Then secondly, for the visit visa, what if you have someone there who wants to invite you over? Will you still go through all these protocols you were talking about?
For visit visa is different. You just have to have a valid invitation letter. Okay. A strong reason that you are actually suited for that purpose of visit. Okay, so for example, if you're coming to speak on XYZ, in the US, they want to ask, are you a professional in that field? When
Not really about let's say I have a family there that is already a citizen.
A casual visit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can come for a casual visit. Yes, of course. Again, nothing is cast in stone. You can come for a casual visit. You can come for what is called a mugo. Yeah, I had a friend as well in Georgia, brought his family, his mother to come and do a mugo for the wife. Okay, but it's up to the visa officer to tell me whether, of course, that is a visa they want to give. I remember one of the interviews I got to, I was in the US and then in Lagos, and the officer denied a particular woman that was coming to visit, I think, her daughter. Oh my God, it was very emotional. The woman she was virtually crying. Please let me go. They are done. Okay, so the chances are up to the officers. You can come for a casual visit, you can come for a business visit, you can come for tourism, but make sure that you have a strong enough reason to be coming. You can come for graduation, for somebody's convocation. Okay, so the visit is open to so many things. It must meet any of the requirements for either B1 or B2, and you can get it. You can say I'm coming for fun, and they give you visa. It's up to them. So yes, you can. There are virtually no limitations, but your chances lie largely with your profile, and then of course with the consular officer.
So please, for some of us that do not have, we didn't register.
Would you allow me to take somebody else?
Okay, please, the last one. We didn't register through your email, so we didn't submit our email address. So how do we get this recorded distance? That's what I'm interested.
Okay, are you on the WhatsApp platform?
Yes, I'm on the WhatsApp platform.
I'm going to be generous with information on that platform.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to be generous, yes. And I'm going to open it as well so that people can engage. After today, I'll open it and then, we can have some questions asked. And then we have schedule for the other things that will be. Thank you. I wish I can answer all your questions, but again, my day is almost done for my own work. And, I have a few more people I want to ask questions. So let me quickly take Oluwatobi Kolapo. 30 seconds, Oluwatobi. And then I will have.
Okay, thank you very much for this enlightening moment. Okay, I heard you said something about joining the US, is it Army Academy or something? Yeah, so I wanted to be sure about that. I didn't get that. I was in transit. Is it that you can, when someone comes in on a visiting visa, you can use that opportunity to apply into the academy, and then there are tendencies that your status could change? Or I don't know, what were you trying to say about that?
Yeah, so for joining any of the US forces, right, you must have a green card. You must have a green card from any of the processes that I have outlined. So whether it's through marrying a citizen or through investment or through EB1 or EB2 or through religious visa, you must, the basic requirement is that you must be a permanent resident of the country. Then you apply to their recruitment firms, recruitment agencies. They are the ones you submit your application to, and then they will profile you to the particular US force that you want to join, and they will invite you for interviews and physicals, okay, where they would check and assess that you're healthy, you do some medical tests, and they put you into the academy, and then you choose what you want to do. That again is a different angle, but you join the military, and in less than a year, you become a citizen. So I think that answers your question. So let's have Oluwakemi. Oluwakemi. Hello? Is Kemi there? Okay, maybe we can have quickly Ruth Ashedago. Ruth, are you there? Can I ask your questions?
I'm here. Thank you very much for this very enlightening. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for this enlightening session. It has been really eye-opening. Okay, so my question is, you talked about when we were outlining the EB1, EB2 visas, you talked about entrepreneurship because I have an engineering background, but I'm currently into digital marketing, especially like going into tech, and I want to go into entrepreneurship. So I don't know how do I apply entrepreneurship for the EB2 green card visa?
Okay.
So that's my question. Then sorry, my second question is when you get for this green card, does it cover your siblings or just you, your spouse, and your kids? Like, does it cover your brother, your sisters, and all? So that's my second question. And my third question is, the EB2 visa, is it the same thing as E2 visas? Because I see things like E2 visas online. Are they the same or are they different?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll start with the third one. So EB2 and B2 are completely different. In fact, they are oppositely different visas. Okay, they are oppositely different. B2 is tourism visa, is the partner or the colleague of B1. So they give you both visas in one. They give you B1, B2. So you can actually use a B1, B2 visa to either attend a conference or a business meeting in the US, or you can also use that to go for fun, to travel. Okay, so now your second question is that as an entrepreneur, whether you can use the EB2. Yes, absolutely yes, you can. As an entrepreneur, you have a strong chance as well. Why? Because the US government or the US economy is largely formed by small businesses. So they value a lot of entrepreneurs, value entrepreneurship a lot. So you have a strong chance of getting an EB2 visa as an entrepreneur. Now that's the process that I went through. I'm an entrepreneur, so you can use that to come in, yes, for EB2 and even EB1. But like I said, the requirements for EB1 are very tall and stringent. So look at it and see if you qualify. And if you do not, you can probably attempt EB2. Your third question, I don't think I can quickly catch it now.
Okay, so my third question was, does it cover my siblings? That's
okay, yes. So now for permanent residents, right, your green card application covers your immediate family for starters, which means your spouse and your children. Okay. Now, when you come into the system, there are wait times for you to apply for certain family members. So they now categorize into subgroups. Okay, so if you have a brother that is less than, so if you are as a guy now, or as a man or woman, you have a family that you've applied for, and you have a sibling under a certain age, you can apply for them. There's a wait time. Okay, there's a wait time. That wait time could be anywhere from 5 years to 10 years. Yes, they are that lengthily humongous waits. So guys, people that are from India and China have the ridiculous wait times. Some of them are waiting now for green card for more than 15 years. Why? Because there's a quota allocated to each country, and countries that have high populations usually, easily max out that quota, which means there will not be waiting time for those that qualify. So as visas, are available, they meet those that are on the queue. So you can be on the queue for 15 years and you still haven't gotten a visa. So yes, you can really apply for those extended family members, but the wait time is what you have to deal with. I have somebody, for example, right now, who has applied for his sibling sister in Nigeria, and the process has been on for close to 8 years. Why? Because she's not a direct dependent. She's a third level dependent. She's a sibling of not a direct dependent. So it could take some time. But if you become a citizen, it becomes easier and faster for certain of those routes. So if you become a citizen, you can apply for your parents to come in, your father, your mother, your brothers, and your sisters. You can apply for them. Again, there are wait times based on the availability of visas for that category. So there is no direct yes, but you would wait, okay, for when it becomes available. So let's have Charles Ozuru back. Charles.
Hello, please, Oluwakemi is there.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Kemi, I think I called you earlier. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, the question is for people that want to go through maybe PhD, because I plan applying for PhD scholarship. So, but I've been trying to scale up. So, I just want to know, is it my process we should start after getting admission? Then I want to ask again.
What's the question? Your question is if you want to apply for a PhD scholarship, right?
Yeah. What are the steps to start taking now? Preparing not to have any delay, to avoid being denied due to ignorance or things like that.
Okay.
Then I'm married. I have it in mind that, okay, my husband or my children, okay, will follow me. Or as in, what are the conditions of such that as a family person? That's my question, please.
You know the conditions that what?
As in, what are the things, having it in mind that, yes, I want my family, my husband and my children to join later. What are the things that I need to put in consideration? What are the things that I need to have the knowledge of?
Okay, easy peasy. So for a PhD prospective candidate, right, you want to, like I mentioned earlier, start gathering your transcripts and have them evaluated by relevant agencies or bodies in the US, like WES, World Evaluation Services, or there are many of them, so many. I used one called my IEE, which is my International Education Evaluators. So it's also in the US. They have a body. Once the body is called NACES, NACES. Once that evaluating agency or company is a member of NACES, that evaluation will be accepted by either the school you're applying to or United States Customs and Immigration Services, right? So start gathering your documents together. Start looking at these schools that you want to attend, the schools that that fits your program. And again, remember that the school can actually have a strong can have a strong impact on your visa chances. Okay, if you say, for example, an Ivy League school, okay, and you have met all the requirements, again, these things are subjective, but you likely are going to get a visa because they assume that number one, you met a very tall, stringent requirements or demands for you to get the admission, and so you just need a visa to be able to fulfill that dream. So I would strongly advise against applying to small town colleges, okay, in the US, small town colleges, because again, they are cheap. They are cheap, but that predisposes you to some kind of sentiment by the consular officer that, okay, this person is applying for a cheap university. That means, maybe they don't have all the money. They just try to go into the system using school. Okay, so you would need to. Okay, I see the question. To apply for a PhD scholarship, which transcript needed to be evaluated? You would need both in the long term because They also need to see how you performed in your bachelor's as well. So you would need both to be on the safe side. You would need both. So, and then if you're going with your family, of course you can. Okay, like I shared with you the story of my friend in Notre Dame. She came in with her family. The husband got an F2 visa. So if you apply for an F1, your spouse and children will get F2 to come in with you. However, I strongly feel again, I feel that my experiences are based on the information that I have and the people I've interacted with, and of course I interact with a lot of people in the process. So the chances are high for you if you are coming for a PhD. Why? Because it means that you are taking your academic pursuit to an apex, and so it shows focus, it shows determination to get something done, which the US respects. So more often than not, you have people who are coming for PhDs being able to get visas for them and their family members in one go, as against other categories of degrees. So it's up to you. Okay. And some people, they go first, apply first, and they have their families join after. That can be challenging. Okay, that can be challenging. I have a case that we're trying to work on right now. One of the spouse left. The plan was that, okay, let this one go and then I will join. But now he's trying to get a visa and then they're denying him. Okay, because they're like, okay, so you don't have a strong tie. It's like you have a strong job in Nigeria to come back to that is giving you $1 million per month. Your declared pay is very low. So we are not sure that you have a strong economic or family tie. So you have to look at your chances very, very thoroughly before you decide on what you want to do. If you cannot afford to be away from your family, do not do it. In fact, I strongly advocate again, traveling without having how the family will join you or how you can join the family covered. Okay, so it's important so that you don't get stuck. I have sad stories that I can share with you, and the last thing I want to do is host a process where families will be split over years. There's somebody I know that has been in the US for close to 10 years, and the family is in Nigeria, wife and children, and he cannot go back home. And they cannot come. Every moment they try to apply for visas, they get denied. Wife and I think there are 3 or 4 kids, they get denied. Why? Because the man was not guided right. When you come into you must ask questions. Again, the people that you meet on this journey can make or mar that journey for the rest of it. You must ask questions. Okay, what do I do? How do I come in? What do you mean? If I want to do this, what do I so ask questions early enough so that you can make informed decisions and choices. When you come into the US on a B1, B2 visa, you have 6 months to stay. So everything you want to do must be done within the first 1 month. Whatever you want to do, start doing it. Okay, which means you must have prior information. If you exhaust that 6 months, you enter into the red zone. At that red zone, the system flags you as somebody who has overstayed his or her visa. So if you have anybody attached to your name, okay, that has the same surname, which is why some people get denied visa, they don't even know why. They don't know why. Maybe they have a sibling or a family member that is in the US that has their same surname, number one, because they will do background checks. You are from the same, they collect data that will bring you into a subset of certain people to be sure that, okay, I'll give you a personal example. There was a time I once applied for a visa and I went into what is called administrative processing. What that means is that they're trying to find out if you are under a particular subset of certain people. So maybe, for example, there's a particular Oyeniyi, okay, that came to the US because I'm just Oyeniyi and overstayed. And then the person, and I said, I don't have anybody in the US that's his family. And they said, but we are seeing 3, 4 Oyeniyis. Okay, let's check you against their data, whether you have anything in common with them. You'll not check what home states. So if you're from Oyo State and the person from Oyo, okay, there's Oyo, something ties them together. Let's check what local government are they from. If you mention something different, then you are safe. But if you're from the same local government, they say, the chances are high that these people are family members, but he has lied. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So there are so many reasons people get denied, they don't know. So if you have family members in the US, on whatever, guys, you must declare it. You must, because if they find out that you have told a lie, they will not tell you why. They will not tell you why exactly. They just give you a generic reason. But you might keep applying for God knows how many years and you keep getting denied. Okay. So that is that about that.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. Charles,
Yeah,
let's have Charles.
okay. So I just want to ask, what are the place that I'll be able to go with my family immediately? As you said, it's possible.
What are what?
What are the things I need to put in place to ensure that I go with my husband and my children immediately I get
Oh, there is okay. So the only things you need to put in place, number one, you must have enough funds to show in when you're applying for your your I-20 that you have funds, because for every of your dependent there's a stipulated amount of money that you must also provide for their upkeep. Okay, so then you of course want to have a strong reason to come with your family, because they'll ask you, why do you want to go with your family? Okay, so I mean, why can't your husband stay back? You know, since you're just going for, but if it's for a PhD, like I say, PhD are long-term programs. For example, they, I mean, anywhere from 3 years and above. So it naturally comes to them that this person may not need to be away or cannot be away from their family for 3 years. They need emotional support. This is why I said there are chances are high that for a PhD candidate, you can come with family, as against a master's degree student who's come for 1 year or for 18 months. You know, again, these are internal US law policies. Oh, I mean, 18 months, come on, you can, you know, your spouse can stay here, continue their own businesses, and then, you know, you come back to them when you're done. You know, so make sure that you have the requisite funding to take care of them, and you have enough reasons to tell, okay, maybe I need emotional support. My spouse can be at home taking care of this while I'm on the field doing research. All of those things must be well articulated when you are giving answers, short and concise answers to the consular officer. Otherwise, approved in Jesus' name. I won't say the other way. All right. You're welcome, Charles. Let's have Charles. How many people more do we have? Oops. Let's have Charles.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for the great information you've shared with us. I have a wedding to attend July 27th of this year.
Okay.
I've gone online to find out how I can apply. I can't even get any good information about it. I'm seeing tourist/visit visa. Don't know how to go about it. That's my number one question.
Okay.
Then hello?
Yeah, I'm with you. I can hear you. Go on.
Okay. Then secondly, for the jobs in US, is it possible for us have a website where we can apply for jobs? Then if we apply for these jobs from Nigeria, is it possible that they could send us an invitation to come, to come work there?
Great question. Great.
Then also this.
Yeah.
Then thirdly, there is where you said about proof of intent to return. So what could form a proof of intent to return to maybe Nigeria when we travel to US?
Great. Okay. Great.
Thank you.
So I'll start with your third question. Proof of intent to return. That would already have been proven in your DS-160 form. You would have there are slots to ask you to fill family members, spouse, children, number of children, father and mother, and their ages. Okay, so that already shows that you have family ties. If as a family man you're traveling, you have a son, you have a daughter, you have a wife, oh, that's enough family tie. They know that if you are going and you don't want to come back, adios. You know, you have to lose your family. That's their you know, the thought line. However, they see that as irresponsible, that you leave your family behind. So that's a tie. Other ties are economic ties, strong, good jobs with high pay. That's a tie. Like who will be earning, for example, say 2 million naira per month and want to just elope like that with a visit visa? That's strange, you know. But even at that, even if you're going to be eloping, you have a strong chance because you have a good job and it's provable. Your funds are provable. Okay, so that is an economic tie right there. You get those two things in place, visa will be approved. I mean, chances are high that visa will be approved. For the wedding that you want to attend, you need a B1, B2 category visa to attend it. The wedding you're attending or whatever you're attending at it is falls under the second category, which is B2. So you just need to have a B1, B2 visa That's what you need to apply for. Then the last question is, what's your last question, please?
Okay, I asked if there are websites in
Jobs.
US that.
Okay, so if you have specialized skills or skill sets, okay, that you can render to US employers or US companies, organizations, what you need to do, okay, is if you're on LinkedIn or Indeed.com and you get a job offer, many or some of these employers are willing to sponsor you for green cards. They're willing to sponsor you. So your sponsorship will now fall under any of these employment-based visas. So for example, EB2 needs you to be sponsored by an employer. Remember, I talked about labor certification. Labor certification means that the US Labor Authority would determine that, yes, that company needs you. And number two, or they need you, or that there are not enough people in the country that are applying for that job. So they would give you labor certification for you to apply and get an EB2, regular EB2. That's because somebody is sponsoring you, an employer, if you're outside the US. So you can get all of those jobs from Indeed.com or even LinkedIn. Okay, so I'm in a tech area as well. Did a DevOps software development program, and when you go online, you see many of these guys wanted to give you sponsorships because you are needed in their companies. So they pay for green cards, they pay their attorney fees for you, application fees for you, and flights for you to come to the US with your family. So a very good website for that is Indeed.com. Amazing opportunities are there for you to get sponsored job opportunities for green cards. Let's have who is next? Owasheye. Owasheye, I hope I got your name correctly. Yes, 30 seconds, quickly, please.
Hello, sir.
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. Well done, sir. You got the name correctly. So I want to know if age also affects this permanent visa. Do they consider age in giving it out?
Oh, okay. No, they do not. You can be 50, you can be 60, as long as you meet the basic requirements. No, age is not a consider. They don't judge those things on age, race, or sexual orientations and all of that. No, they don't.
Okay, sir. I would also like to go for my PhD.
Okay.
And
awesome.
Someone asked a question related to that.
Okay.
In the sense that she was like a family and all that. What are other steps one can take? And which school should one apply to? And I don't know. I just need more details, sir.
What other steps you can take?
Yes.
Again, like I said, what you just need to do is make your choice of school based on how very vital they are to that particular course. Certain schools have.
How do you go for that? How do we search for schools that are really in our field of study?
The internet. The internet is your resource place. You want to go on simple Google search, say which school has strong faculty on AI technology, for example. Okay. Google will give you a list of schools that have very strong suits in that area. Then you now begin to check each of them out, okay, and see, where they stand. Check their alumni network, how strong they are in the labor force in the US or the global market space, and then you make your decisions from that.
How do you also know that they are on scholarship-based schools?
Yes, put in the keyword number one in Google. Just get the keyword scholarship in XYZ specialization in XYZ school, or then you have a list. Other things you could do is send an email to that particular faculty, okay, or that department, and say, are there opportunities, or even if the school, are there opportunities for scholarships for me for this particular course area? If that email doesn't know, they will direct you or give you a resource that you can read to see all of the available scholarship opportunities. So yes, you can reach out to the school directly. In fact, some of those scholarships are not usually announced publicly. You have to, you see that there's a professor that has funding that can say, okay, I have funding of XYZ amount for people that want to do PhD under me. So if you're coming to do PhD, your 3-year tuition is taken care of, tuition is taken care of, living allowances and all of those things, sometimes even flights, based on the funding available in that department or to that supervisor that you locate to chance in.
Thank you, sir. But another thing I would like to ask, if I've done all this, make more research and findings, how do we now reach you back to tell you, this is how far I've gone, this is what I've done?
Yes.
What should I
So
do
that's why I
next?
talked about the support group, that we're going to have a support group on the platform. So what I could do is have people that want to do that want to go for B1, B2. We have a sub community for them, then F1 and then PR, so that we can be dealing only with matters that relate to that particular visa category on that platform, on that group. So that way everything is not mumbled or mumbo jumbled together. So we can do that. That's my long-term goal, is support community for those that want to attempt any of these categories. We keep supporting each other. We keep, okay, let's do it, and all that. I belong to so many of such platforms. And when somebody gets a visa, we celebrate, we rejoice. It keeps us going, like, okay, it's happening, we can do it, and that way, we are helping each other win. All right. So
thank you very much, sir.
you're welcome. Yeah. So how many questions more can I take? Maybe I'll take 1 or 2 more. Can I quickly have I have Barnabas Ehabo? Barnabas. If he's not there, can I have Emmy?
Hello.
Okay. All right.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go on.
Okay, thank you for the good session. Let's say I applied for a PhD admission in US and I use my wife as on site. If she wants to apply for F2 visa, what can she now use as on site?
Okay, so you're applying for, have you gotten your visa already, or you're in the US?
No, I've not gotten yet.
Okay, so but you want to apply a loan?
Yes, I want to apply for PhD admission in US and I want to use my wife as home type back in Nigeria. If she wants to apply for F2, what can she now use as her own home type?
Okay, what visa do you want to apply for right now? What visa do you want to apply for?
Okay, PhD, F1.
F1, okay. So now you're asking, what would your wife use as home tie, right?
Yes.
Okay, so simple. If you have, of course, I wouldn't expect that you will leave your kids, but that is the mentality of the visa officer. So I'm thinking like they would think. If you have a child or children, that's your home tie. But of course, that may not be feasible for a family person. And that home tie could be your aged mother or aged father. Particularly, aged parents are home ties. You cannot leave them. Other home ties, like I mentioned, are economic home ties. Oh, I have XYZ landed property in XYZ place. What XYZ? You put those things when you are explaining certain things in your DS1 system. That's why that form is very important. It has to be detailed enough. You must put in certain information. So that way, they can always relate back and say, okay, yeah, he said that he has this already. So, and if they want proof, they have their way of finding out. So your wife could use that. If you don't feel confident enough about having your wife apply with you, because of the chances that you think might be affected, then they could use that economic home tie or family home tie of parents to show strong suits or strong ties to their family in Nigeria. And then of course, if they have a good job, they could also come back. I had somebody, a friend, who came in for exchange on exchange visa to Washington some years ago, like 6 years ago. He was here in the US for 18 months, and the wife needed to come in from a place of work for another event in the US. So they were a bit bothered that, oh, will they give him, will they give her, will they give her because he's already here? But they did give her. I think she was first initially denied, and then they repackaged the process and went in again, and she came in. And then when she came in, when she came in, they were not able to meet him in in Washington after she was done with her conference, and to the glory of God, that meeting now produced an amazing set of twin children. But by the time she went back to Nigeria, she put to bed 9 months after to a set of twins. Glory be to God. So yes, you can do that. Your children can be your home tie. Economic property can be home tie. An amazing job with good pay can be a home tie. You just say you're coming to see your husband, for a couple of weeks, using an absence of leave from your place of work. Yes, that could work. That could work. It has worked for people, so it can work for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Oladoyin Victoria. Is this the same Oladoyin Victoria? Oladoyin
Yes.
Victoria. Oladoyin Victoria
Yes.
Mubarak now.
Yes. Good afternoon, Prince.
Vicky.
Good
How you doing now?
afternoon. I'm good. I'm good, and I appreciate.
Just abandon things like that.
No, I'm grateful for this opportunity. I really am. Thank you for giving out your best. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. So I have my younger sister has applied for visa 3 times, and the first time, okay, my other brother is over there. He's a citizen, and so the first one she was denied. The second one, I think the wife also wrote a letter on her behalf, and they did all the necessary things. They've gotten accommodation for her, paid the fees and all that, but she was still denied. Last year again, she applied. I think they got a lawyer or something, and she was also denied. I don't have the full details, but I know she had been denied 3 times. So for somebody like that has a sibling over there, and even the wife is a citizen, and she wrote a letter on her behalf requesting that they should allow her in, but she was denied. So I don't know the next step we can also take concerning that.
Okay. So, see, I usually, advise them when a particular route does not work, try another route. There are so many ways she can come. I don't know her profile, but if I don't know her profile, I could be able to advise. Okay, so the fact that she has a sibling citizen or a citizen sibling, okay, automatically predisposes her to tendency of overstay, judging from the outlook of a consular officer. Oh, you have a sibling citizen. What's the guess that you will not stay back? Okay, you have a tie, you have a family tie already in the US. So they might tell you to stay back and then try to do anything. So, but we're not sure you're going to come back. That is where, they usually advise that. I mean, the officer, if an officer is hosting maybe an off the charts engagement with a prospective applicant, they say, okay, why not just have that citizen sibling apply for you for a green card, which again is now subjected to the long wait time. Could be 5 years, it depends. Could be 3 years, it depends. Could be 10 years. Yes, is that, like I said, is when you check the visa bulletins of the USCIS, you will see the wait times there for F3 and F4, which are the extended family members of citizens or permanent resident visa holders. So, however, if the person can apply for green card, why not? Why not apply for green card from Nigeria? You spend 1 year or 18 months applying for yourself a green card. Okay, so using any of these means, using either EB1, if they have a bachelor's and 5 years of experience, they can get a green card and come in. They're not going to stop them. Yeah.
Okay. So she has a master. She has a BSc and MSc already. Awesome. Then also I'm thinking that my parents. Okay, he has applied since they didn't give her. He has applied for my parent also for green cards. I don't know, probably for green card or for visit. So I'm thinking, will he still be able to apply for her also? Since my parents are in the process and they've gotten a lawyer, they are reaching out to them, they submitted their marriage certificates and other documentation.
Whether that your sister will be able to apply for green card for herself?
Yes.
Of course, absolutely. She is treated as a different entity when she's applying for a green card. It even improves the chances of the family getting other people to come on green card. Okay. So if she is applying for a green card now and she gets it in, say, 18 months from now, she can apply for her husband. Her husband can tag along. Her husband and her children can tag along. When the husband and children tag along and come into the US and they get green card, the husband can file for his own siblings, for his own mother and his own father, right? So you see, that's how the system begins to form that lengthy network of three. Because the moment you become a PRO holder, you can apply for other members of family, whether it's husband or wife. Okay, so and when you become a citizen, the circle or the bracket expands more, and the timeline can also reduce. So she should just apply. My advice would be let her apply for a green card, because they're going to be looking at her from the angle of, you have a sibling there as a citizen. We are not sure you can come back. Okay, why not just, or maybe even the way the sibling became a citizen, because they have all the data. Maybe the person came in as a visitor, and then did a change. And maybe the change had some hiccups here and there. Maybe the person first overstayed, and then they now applied for what is called waiver of inadmissibility due to overstay. Again, that's another area I want to talk about. So there are so many concepts that the questions will take me into. But for this particular question, right, there could be many reasons. That citizen sibling could have some database in their system that predisposes anybody from that family to a denial, even though the person is a citizen. So they will say, okay, if this person was able to get citizenship using this process, that may be the process you want to prescribe for other members of their family. That is why you must make sure that your records are clean with the US, because you could be predisposing people attached to your surname or to your family tree to issues with the visa process. So you want to be sure that everything. So, but she has an amazing chance of getting a green card on her own and on her own merits, without depending on any family member. If she meets the minimum, like you said, she has a master, so she's qualified for an EB2. If she has been doing amazing stuff in her field, whether as a professional or anything, I will have a particular webinar for just green card holders or green card perspectives alone. I will look at this in detail. Okay, so that is an area that I can help the team. If you want to file for a green card from Nigeria, I can help you. Okay, if you need help, I can help you. If you don't have the time, okay, I can help you put it together and submit an application, in the US. Okay, or I can support you to do it yourself. Just give you, some information here and there, and then you can save far. You save a lot of money doing that, because right now I know the exchange rate is crazy. Okay, it's really crazy. So because right now, if I calculate what I spent in the process to the current exchange rates, and I mention it, some guys here will say, but people are doing it. I belong to Telegram groups, and there's a particular WhatsApp group I belong to. There are over 8,000. I think the WhatsApp group is maxed already. 1,024 people is maxed, because the lady has several groups like that. Okay, Nigerians are applying for green cards from either Nigeria or other part of the world, from their place of residence, and they're getting it approved. You're just waiting for them to be called to the embassy and get their green cards. 2 weeks ago, I received somebody. I had to go to the airport, JFK, to receive one of my friends and brother who was coming to join the wife. The wife is a citizen, and then applied for him as a spouse. It was his first time coming to the US. From Nigeria, they got everything. He went for the interview, got his visa, came in, and then just, I think, a few days ago, because he called me and told me just about 2 days ago that his green card also came in the system. So yes, it's possible, very possible. Is that the last of the questions? So that we can call it a wrap right now. That's it. Bosun Akin. Maybe that will be the last question. Bosun, is it there? So if you need help, right? I will create subgroups for B1, B2, F1, and then permanent residency visa applicants or prospective applicants, so that we can now talk about, if you have your questions, you just drop it on those platforms.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. I've been raising up my hand, and you are yet to call my name.
Oh yeah, wow.
Yes,
I'm trying to go through all the names to be sure that I think when I call you and you don't answer, I move on to the next person. So Tosin, you can quickly ask your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. I think this is the second time I will be chance to listen to you or to watch you. I've been to one church program and you are an invited guest. So you talk to us through Zoom also.
Oh, wow.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
So my question is that concerning most of us with an HND certificate, sir. So I've been trying to apply for different schools in Canada, UK, but one of the problem is the exchange rate. One, two, also the scholarship. If you want to apply for scholarship, you see BSc, BSc, BSc. So can you just put us through? I believe most people are HND here in Nigeria, and they want to apply for this scholarship, but we have limited schools that are receiving HND students for their programs. So I don't know, maybe you can just talk to us, someone like me, how to go about it.
Yes, let me answer your question, right? So there are different grading systems or different levels of degree awards, across countries. But the most popular ones are bachelor's, master's, and PhD, right? So those are the common ones you will find on the internet when they are asking or telling you about minimum requirements. However, you can research, because there's what we call equivalency. So equivalency means that I have a particular degree that if you evaluate it, is equal to this particular one that you have. So you can now reach out to your choice schools and say, what I have is what is called a higher national diploma. That is a 4-year degree, a 4-year course, and then I have this, I have this, I have that. If I do evaluate it, would it meet the requirement for the bachelor's for your own institution? Which is why you want to evaluate your transcripts using an evaluating agency. Again, like WES or any of the NACES approved agencies. So that way, they will now evaluate and tell you where you fall under. I have to do an evaluation of my transcript. They will now say, okay, by virtue of these courses that you did, this number of years, and this particular the particular grading or application of the course and the institution, you have the equivalency of a US bachelor's baccalaureate. So when you evaluate your results, you will get that. Then you can also reach out to the school and say but again, like I said, you will need to have it evaluated so that they can know exactly what your result is like under the US education evaluation. They would be able to know and tell them, what I have is this. I need a scholarship. I know there are a few schools in Canada that take HND. And yes, if you research very well, you will see schools, more than enough schools in the US, that provide exceptions for people who have other degrees other than bachelor's. Okay, you just have to do the extra work. Why? Because it's not a popular degree name. And so you may not readily find it on their website. You can just send them an email. What I have is this. Then you
I sent an email to one university, Suffolk University, and I was asked to send my results. So after sending my results, my ND, my HND, I had distinction, I'm upper credit for my HND. I sent my NIM, National Institute of Management. I sent all these files to them.
Yeah.
And my transcript and my CVs. So even till now, they didn't get back to me. And that one discouraged me.
Okay, so that they didn't get back to you is not the reason why you should stop, poking them. That's number one. Number two, it could be that those schools expect you to have that result evaluated again because they don't understand the system. They don't understand how you got what you got. So if you send them just a Nigerian, like an unpopular degree name, okay, HND, a Canadian person may not know what an HND is. What's an HND? What are the requirements for being awarded an HND? Okay, so which is why you will now have to have it evaluated. It improves your chances of being considered or being even given a response. Okay, you have to do the due diligence. You cannot give up. Sometimes you have to follow up with these schools multiple times. If it is what you really want to do, you cannot give up too soon. Multiple times, and you keep sending emails to different schools. You keep doing it. I remember when my wife was trying to apply for certain schools, right, or get admissions, we applied to a number of schools and we paid application fees just to improve and increase our chances. So you cannot do one or two and say, oh, you can't get back to me. That's it. No, you have to. you might have to apply. Have you know the guys who apply to 15 schools at a stretch? Maybe they get 5 people to get 5 schools to respond. Yes, including geniuses. Geniuses, they apply to 15 schools, 20 schools, and then maybe they only get like 3 people to respond. And those 3, they choose one, and that's it. So the more schools you apply to, the more emails you send out, the more engagement you make with these institutions, the higher your chances are of being given, a response or even getting what you want from them. You cannot give up. You cannot give up. So yes, go back to the work, start sending them emails, follow up with them. You can copy other departments or copy other admin, emails. My wife once did that. She was sending emails to, and this is somebody who had a first class in a bachelor's, and you are not even responding to the email. You're not responding to the email. So she now copied the dean of the institution, and then copied some other senior level officers. Guess what? Immediately, the people that she was messaging directly saw that she has copied other people. They reached out to her and said, "Oh, okay, sorry, we missed out on your email. Please make sure to directly contact us. You don't have to copy XYZ and all that." But the thing is, it worked. It worked, and she got the admission. So you sometimes have to tweak some of these things. There's no one size fits all. Just have to ask questions like you're doing now, and then when you get the ideal strategy, just implement it. And I pray that it works for you and you get your response, because there are guys who have gone for further studies abroad with HND. There's a particular guy, I'm trying to remember his name right now. He's relatively popular on Instagram. He comments regularly on Mufasa Tunde Ednot's page. Okay, he came into the US, I believe, with an HND. I don't know how he did, but he has shared the story. If I see the name, I would put his story on the platform with an HND. Then he went into tech and everything, and today the guy is a citizen. He has 2 passports. Okay, so it's possible. People have done it, but you have to find and map out your road to get to where you're going to. So I wish you the very best. Let's keep connected.
Amen.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
It's gonna work. By God's grace.
Amen.
It's gonna work. Don't give up.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so that's it for the day. I want to say thank you, guys. Like, really, really thank you. We're gonna have this again on, I think we're gonna be on the 20th of next month. We'll have another session like this. But in the meantime, if you need to have a consultation with me, I will drop certain details on the platform, and then we can schedule time to talk, and we look at your case on a one-on-one basis, and then we can see how to help each other. All right. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your time, and I wish you guys the very best of the weekend. I wish you guys successful applications, and I'm looking forward to having guys from this platform, from this webinar, begin to come into the US like as soon as before the end of this year. If we start now, anything is possible. Okay, anything is possible. Somebody called me yesterday, said there's a particular scholarship opportunity for certain guys and all that. I'm trying to get details about that. There are viable platforms that you can come to the US through them. Okay, viable platforms that I could share for those who are serious enough. I would assess that level of seriousness on personally set criteria. So that through that, you can come in and begin to find your way around the system, right? So I wish you guys the very best, and I pray that all that you lay your hands on, God will prosper. He will give you success in your endeavors. On this particular endeavor, He will guide you aright. You will make the right decision, and everything will work together for good for you and for your family. Thank you, and God bless you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, guys.
Thank you so much, sir. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. God bless you. For so much value for free. So much value for free. Thank you so much, sir.